Chapter 340. I'm no match for him. Zhou Yusin, the 9th princess of the Saint Divine dynasty, shook her head as everyone looked at her. This surprised many people. As the princess of the Saint Divine dynasty, how could she admit defeat? However, Zhou Yuanwu smiled and was not surprised. As Zhou Yusin's elder brother, he knew how powerful she was. Even if she used her trump card, she would not be able to defeat Qin Yu. In that case, there was no need for her to go on stage. Since the 9th princess has given in, I'll go on stage. Someone chuckled and the eyes of the young geniuses of the 3 Saint Divine dynasties lit up. They all looked at Yi Xiaoning, the 7th prince of the Heavenly Spirit Divine dynasty. Yi Xiaoning carried an ancient sword on his back as he stepped into the air and walked onto the battle stage. Although they were both princes of the Saint Divine dynasty, Yi Xiaoning was much more reserved compared to Qian Qinfeng. Yi Xiaoning appeared to be much more reserved, giving people the feeling of a cool breeze. However, those who were truly discerning would be able to tell at a glance. Yi Xiaoning was definitely stronger than Qian Qinfeng. Yi Xiaoning's reserved manner was like steel that had been tempered thousands of times and was indestructible. Brother Yi, what do you think of this battle? Zhou Yuan turned his head and looked at Yi Tianyu. Qian Yuming also looked at him. Although they had heard of Yi Xiaoning, they did not know how powerful he was. Xiaoning can fight with a martial emperor, Yi Tianyu said. Oh! Zhou Yuan was surprised. It was rare for a martial ancestor to fight with a martial emperor. This Yi Xiaoning actually had such strength? That means the outcome has been decided. Qian Yuming's eyes lit up. Although Qian Qinfeng had been defeated by Qin Yu had been defeated by the 3 Saint Divine dynasties of the southern region. This had allowed the 3 Saint Divine dynasties to vent their frustrations. Otherwise, the martial ancestors of the 3 Saint Divine dynasties would be defeated by a martial ancestor from the imperial palace. That would be too much of a loss of face. It's hard to say. Yi Tianyu slowly shakes his head, his deep eyes falling on Qin Yu. If Qin Yu were to fight Qian Qinfeng with his full strength, there would be no doubt as to the outcome. However, judging from Qin Yu's previous battles, he didn't seem to be straining at all. Heavenly Spirit God Court, 7th Prince Yi Xiaoning? Stopping several zhang away from Qin Yu, Yi Xiaoning clasps his fist and says to Qin Yu with a faint smile on his handsome face. Heavenly Imperial Palace, Xinfeng. Qin Yu's face was also full of smiles. Yi Xiaoning's luck was no weaker than that of Qian Qinfeng, who Xiao Chun had defeated earlier. This was another big fat fish. What is Brother Shin's status in the Heavenly Imperial Palace? Yi Xiaoning was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he asked with a smile. Countless onlookers were also curious about Qin Yu's identity in the Sky Emperor Palace. Core disciple. Qin Yu did not hide anything. His current appearance was Xin Feng's. With the resources of the 3 divine dynasties, they only needed to do a little research to know that he was a core disciple of the Heavenly Imperial Palace. Oh, I remember the rules of the Heavenly Imperial Palace. Only those who have reached the martial emperor realm can become a core disciple. Surprise flashed in Yi Xiaoning's eyes. Yi Tianyu and the other 2 were also shocked. A martial ancestor could become a core disciple. Could it be that Qin Yu's combat strength was comparable to a martial emperor? If that was the case, it was no surprise that Qian Qinfeng and the others had been defeated by Qin Yu. Aren't rules meant to be broken? Qin Yu said with a faint smile. Brother Shin's words make sense. Since ancient times, all the geniuses have never been restrained by the rules of the world. Please. Yi Xiaoning laughed loudly. A cold light flashed and the ancient sword on his back was unsheathed. His originally reserved and gentle temperament suddenly underwent an earth-shattering change, and his sharpness was oppressive. He was like a peerless, ferocious sword that wanted to slaughter the world. Sky Splitter Spear. Divine light flashed in Qin Yu's palm and the Sky Splitter Spear appeared. His aura also changed drastically. Slash. Yi Xiaoning did not waste any time. He took a step forward and countless mysterious sword runes lit up on his ancient sword. An unparalleled dazzling sword radiance burst out. However, the moment the sword radiance was released, it immediately hid in the void and disappeared. Clang! Qin Yu turned his body and stabbed with his spear. The divine spear was like a dragon and had a vast and mighty aura. Suddenly, there was a sharp and ear-piercing sound of metal clashing in the void, followed by a dazzling explosion. The sword radiance that Yi Xiaoning had used to hide in the void was broken. Qi. The fighting spirit in Yi Xiaoning's eyes surges. His body rushes at Qin Yu, leaving behind numerous afterimages. He waved his ancient sword, and rays of dazzling sword radiance kept disappearing in the void and reappearing without any warning. "That's the divine empty sword!" someone exclaimed as they recognized the ancient sword in Yi Xiaoning's hand. The divine Emperorian sword was the only emperor weapon with the spatial ability among the known emperor weapons. In other words, the sword radiance that disappeared was not because Yi Xiaoning had comprehended spatial laws. It was because the divine empty sword had its own ability. However, clang, clang, clang. Intense and deafening clashing sounds continuously resounded in the void. Every collision was accompanied by sparks flying in all directions. No matter how elusive the sword radiance that Yi Xiaoning slashed out was, Qin Yu was able to accurately hit it, and not a single sword radiance was missed. Clang! After another clash, Yi Xiaoning turned around and retreated. He stared at Qin Yu with surging battle intent. Spatial abilities were extremely rare. In the past, Yi Xiaoning had always relied on the divine empty sword and his comprehension of the sword Dao. Almost no one below the martial emperor realm could block his attack. However, today, the divine empty sword's ability was completely ineffective against Qin Yu. Yi Xiaoning did not know if Qin Yu could predict the future or if he had also comprehended spatial laws. However, it did not matter. To be able to meet an evenly matched opponent in the martial ancestor realm, Yi Xiaoning felt that this might be an opportunity for him. An opportunity to help him break through the martial emperor barrier. "You are the first person in the martial ancestor realm who has made me release the seal." Yi Xiaoning's gaze was as sharp as a sword. Countless sword shadows floated in the depths of his eyes. In the next moment, Yi Xiaoning shouted. A wave of materialized destructive sword power soared into the sky from his body. Immediately, the sky trembled and the wind and clouds were annihilated. The silhouette of an ancient sword appeared out of nowhere behind him. The sword shadow was 10 feet large, and it was uncertain whether it was real or not. It emitted a terrifying destructive sword power. Looking at the ancient sword shadow behind Yi Xiaoning, Lin Fan felt a chill run down his spine. "What kind of power is that?" A strange look flashed across Qin Yu's eyes. Yi Xiaoning had comprehended the most powerful and terrifying destruction sword Dao among all the offensive laws. Moreover, there was a terrifying sword power hidden in Yi Xiaoning's body. The sword power was even stronger than Yi Xiaoning's own power. Without a doubt, it was not Yi Xiaoning's power. However, Yi Xiaoning seemed to be able to control that power. How terrifying! This fluctuation is no weaker than the martial emperor realm, right? I did not expect the 7th prince of the heavenly spirit god dynasty to have hidden such strength. Ha ha, let's see how arrogant that guy can be now. The martial progenitors of the 3 divine dynasties could feel the terrifying pressure from Yi Xiaoning. Apart from being shocked, they were also extremely excited. Their strength was completely on par with martial emperors. They did not believe that Qin Yu would be able to withstand them. "Looks like it's time to get serious." Qin Yu stood with the spear in his hand. He formed a seal with his left hand and a vast divine seal descended. After using the Undying Rock Emperor's seal, numerous cyan-colored dragon marks appeared within Qin Yu's body. Chapter 341. Qin Yu's aura rose rapidly. It was the azure dragon battling the heavens. If it was Yi Xiaoning's own strength, Qin Yu could easily suppress him with his cultivation and the power of the three emperors. However, Qin Yu was very concerned about the mysterious sword aura in Yi Xiaoning's body. That's right, he was very concerned about it. If the sword aura was fully unleashed, even a martial monarch would not be able to withstand it. Even Qin Yu was surprised by his words and judgment. As expected, he did not use his full strength in the previous battles. The eyes of Yi Tianyu and the other two flickered when they sensed the rising aura in Qin Yu's body. Qin Yu's cultivation had reached the limit of the Nirvana realm in the martial progenitor realm. He could even vaguely compare with Yi Xiaoning, who was surrounded by a destructive sword aura. Ha ha, very good. You are indeed worthy of my full strength. Yi Xiaoning feels that Qin Yu's power has also soared. Instead of being startled, he is delighted and laughs wildly. Condense. Before his laughter faded, Yi Xiaoning raised the divine sky sword in his hand. Destructive sword might moved along with it. Streaks of destructive sword chi spread out and shattered the void. Gradually, they formed a sword chi windstorm. Yi Xiaoning stood in the middle of the sword aura storm. The ancient sword shadow behind him, which was originally 30 meters in size, gradually merged with the divine empty sword in his right hand. The instant the two swords overlapped, a destructive sword aura burst out in all directions like a tidal wave. Wherever the sword aura passed, cracks appeared on the deity realm's battle arena that was surrounded by ancient runes. It was evident how powerful Yi Xiaoning's aura was. What kind of power is that? At that instant, even Qian Yuming, Zhou Wuyuan, Sun Xiu, and the other geniuses of the spiritual state's battle ranking were shocked. The power that Yi Xiaoning emitted at this time actually made them all have a trace of palpitating danger. How could they not be shocked when a martial progenitor realm genius possessed such power? Zhou Yuanwu and Qian Yuming finally understood. Why did Yi Tianyu say that Yi Xiaoning had the power to fight against a martial monarch? He can already control the sword soul? Yi Tianyu's eyes flickered with astonishment when he sensed the destructive sword aura from Yi Xiaoning. Outsiders did not know what kind of destructive sword might Yi Xiaoning was emitting. However, as the crown prince of the heavenly spirit divine dynasty, Yi Tianyu knew very well. When Yi Xiaoning was born, a sword spirit accompanied him and fused into his body. As Yi Xiaoning grew up, the power of the sword soul became increasingly terrifying. The higher-ups of the heavenly spirit god court had no choice but to seal the sword soul. Unexpectedly, Yi Xiaoning was already able to control the power of the sword soul. Slash! Like a sudden clap of thunder, Yi Xiaoning suddenly charged out explosively with the ancient sword in hand. The ancient sword slashed out, and a 3-meter-long destructive sword light appeared in front of Qin Yu in the blink of an eye. Wherever the sword light passed, a long crack appeared in the void, emitting chaotic spatial fluctuations. Rumble! A deafening explosion immediately rang out. The indestructible stone emperor seal that was struck by the destructive sword light trembled violently. The destructive shock waves that erupted from the two turned into destructive hurricanes that were thousands of feet wide, wreaking havoc in all directions. The arena, which was already filled with cracks, was now filled with cracks that were tens of meters long. It was as if the entire fighting ring could collapse at any time. He actually blocked my attack? Yi Xiaoning's eyes narrowed in disbelief. His move just now had fused with the power of the sword soul in his body. Even a real martial emperor would find it difficult to block it. However, Qin Yu had blocked it unscathed. The defensive power of the ancient seal was simply too shocking. Little did he know that Qin Yu was also quite surprised at this moment. Under Yi Xiaoning's sword, several clear cracks had appeared on the indestructible stone emperor seal. One should know that Qin Yu was now in the state of the azure dragon fighting the heavens. Even the indestructible stone emperor seal that he had used now was somewhat difficult to resist. Yi Xiaoning's current combat strength was no less than the martial emperor realm. No wonder you can break the rules of the Emperor Tian Palace. You are indeed strong. Yi Xiaoning held the ancient sword tightly with both hands and slashed wildly. His movements were bold and majestic. It was as if the sword in his hand was not an ancient sword, but a saber or an axe. The space was torn apart by the divine void sword, leaving pitch-black cracks. Qin Yu naturally would not just focus on defense. The Sky Splitter's spear emitted a terrifying aura as it continuously stabbed forward. The sky was filled with spear glows like a meteor shower, countless and dazzling. The two of them fought fiercely in the air of the fighting ring. Each of their moves was meant to kill the other. The martial emperor who was acting as the judge had an unprecedentedly focused expression. The surrounding tens of millions of spectators were dead silent. They even subconsciously held their breath. Even the martial emperors reacted the same way. They did not expect such an exciting battle to take place in a martial progenitor realm martial gathering. Yi Xiaoning and Qin Yu's combat strength could be said to be the limit of the martial ancestor realm. However, in terms of potential, Qin Yu was far superior to Yi Xiaoning. After all, Qin Yu's actual cultivation was only at the first cycle of the Nirvana realm. If he were to master the 9th cycle of the Nirvana realm, he would be able to break through the gap and possess a law-defying battle strength. Although Yi Xiaoning was able to fight against a martial emperor realm cultivator, it was still impossible for him to defeat a martial emperor realm cultivator. However, Qin Yu's future potential was different. Of course, that was in the future. It was hard to tell who would win the battle now. Bang! After another fierce clash, the two were knocked a few hundred zhang away by the rebound force. They faced each other across the chaotic rift. How satisfying! It's been a long time since I had such an enjoyable battle. Yi Xiaoning glanced at Qin Yu, whose face was not flushed at all, with a burning battle intent in his eyes. Qin Yu was indeed the first martial ancestor realm cultivator that he could not defeat despite using his full strength. I see. Qin Yu calmly glanced at Yi Xiaoning. After the fierce battle just now, Lin Fan's expression changed drastically. Qin Yu finally figured out what the terrifying sword intent in Yi Xiaoning's body was. A reincarnator. Yi Xiaoning was also a rare reincarnator. The sword intent in his body was the sword spirit that he had cultivated in his past life. Apart from the siblings of the Jiang tribe, this Yi Xiaoning was the third reincarnator that Qin Yu had encountered. However, judging from Yi Xiaoning's reaction, it was obvious that he had yet to awaken the memories of his past life. Therefore, he was not considered a real reincarnator. The game ends here. Seeing Yi Xiaoning gathering his sword intent and preparing to attack once again, a blue dragon rune appeared on Qin Yu's right palm. The dragon rune glowed brightly as the sky-shattering spear was covered in a faint yin-yang curse. This guy, Yi Xiaoning, who was about to attack, halted his movement. He was able to sense an extremely frightening sense of danger from Qin Yu. If he were to attack Qin Yu now, he would surely suffer a destructive attack. Yin-yang world-destroying spear. Qin Yu made his move all of a sudden. He turned into a ray of light and dashed forward at an incredible speed. Chapter 342. Reverse Moon Slash. Yi Xiaoning's eyes narrowed. Without thinking, he gripped the sword hilt with both hands and unleashed his strongest attack. The sword radiance wreaked havoc in the air and turned into a crescent moon. Crack! When the crescent moon sword radiance and the yin-yang spear collided, they shattered like glass and turned into countless sword radiances that scattered in the air. Boom! At the critical moment, Yi Xiaoning only had time to use the divine void sword to block in front of him, dodging the killing move that was thrusting towards him. However, he was sent flying a few hundred feet away by the huge force. The blood in his body was boiling and he suffered serious internal injuries. This battle is over. After tumbling in the air for over 10 rounds, Yi Xiaoning finally stabilized his body and was about to continue the battle. However, he felt a cold aura locking onto him, causing his body to turn cold, and he did not dare to move. The martial emperor who was acting as the judge quickly spoke and ended the battle. Yi Xiaoning slowly turned his head and saw that Qin Yu had appeared behind him. When the martial emperor announced the end of the battle, the terrifying killing intent on the sky splitter's spear gradually dissipated. I have lost this time. However, I will not lose to you again next time. Yi Xiaoning sheathed the ancient sword, and the destructive sword aura in his body disappeared without a trace. Although he had lost to Qin Yu, he had benefited greatly from the battle with Qin Yu. There was a great terror between life and death. When Yi Xiaoning fought with Qin Yu, it could be said that it was a battle of life and death. He had unleashed his potential to the extreme. This also allowed Yi Xiaoning to have a deeper understanding of the martial emperor realm. Perhaps? Qin Yu smiled noncommittally. Even if Yi Xiaoning had broken through to the martial emperor realm, Qin Yu was not afraid. In the previous battle, he had only unleashed 50 to 60% of his strength. If he had gone all out, Yi Xiaoning might not even be able to take 10 moves from him. However, Qin Yu was curious about Yi Xiaoning's reincarnation status. In the history of the Sky region, anyone who could reincarnate was definitely a top expert when they were alive. As Yi Xiaoning was defeated, a majestic force of providence appeared. It appeared from Yi Xiaoning's body and was devoured by Qin Yu. Qin Yu came back to his senses, and his eyes flashed with joy. Yi Xiaoning was indeed a reincarnator. The force of fortune in his body was more than 10 times stronger than Qian Qinfeng and Du Meishuan's. The martial assembly of the divine dynasty, where tens of millions of people had gathered, was dead silent. First, it was Qian Qinfeng. Now, even Yi Xiaoning, who was comparable to a martial emperor, had been defeated. Who among the martial progenitors of the southern region could stand a chance against Qin Yu? Come down. Amidst the dead silence, Sun Xiu's flat voice sounded. Originally, Sun Xiu only wanted Qin Yu to teach Du Meixian a lesson for speaking rudely. However, in the end, Qin Yu had utterly defeated the martial progenitor realm of the southern domain. Looking at it now, it would be difficult for the martial gathering to continue. It was time to leave. Qin Yu nodded slightly and prepared to leave the battle arena. During the battle against Qian Qinfeng, apart from Yi Xiaoning, a few other martial progenitors were eager to battle Qin Yu. However, after the battle between him and Yi Xiaoning ended, the few sky prides who still had the will to fight fell silent at this moment. Evidently, they no longer thought that they were a match for Qin Yu. There was no need for Qin Yu to stay here any longer. As for the plundering of luck, since he had figured it out, there would be plenty of opportunities in the future. The luck of the younger generation of martial progenitors was definitely not as good as Yi Tianyu, Zhou Yuan, Qian Yuming and the other geniuses on the combat ranking. Stop right there. However, at this moment, a cold voice sounded. As soon as the voice sounded, a figure leaped onto the battle arena. It was a rank 5 martial emperor. What's the matter? Qin Yu's footsteps slightly stopped. He looked at that rank 5 martial emperor indifferently. Brat, your true cultivation has already reached the martial emperor realm, right? The rank 5 martial emperor said coldly. The martial emperor who was acting as the judge looked at Yi Tianyu and the other 2 crown princes. When he saw that the 3 crown princes had no intention of stopping Yi Tianyu, his eyes flickered and he came to a realization. It would appear that the 3 crown princes wanted to test out Qin Yu's strength. I believe that even if you can't tell whether or not I've concealed my cultivation, the many martial emperors present should be able to tell. Qin Yu said indifferently. Humph, although I don't know what sort of secret technique you've used to conceal your cultivation, the Nirvana tribulation is a martial emperor. However, I have never heard of a Nirvana first cycle martial ancestor possessing a battle power comparable to a martial emperor. The rank 5 martial emperor coldly snorted. When the several tens of millions of spectators heard the rank 5 martial emperor's words, they all started to discuss spiritedly. Indeed, Qin Yu's ability to fight opponents of a higher cultivation level was too powerful. This caused the crowd to suspect whether or not Qin Yu had concealed his true cultivation. If you've never heard of it, I can only say that you're ignorant and inexperienced. Qin Yu lightly smiled. Is that so? In that case, I would like to see it for myself today. The rank 5 martial emperor sneered and his aura became even more oppressive. I'd advise you not to attack. You'll be injured. As if he did not sense the martial emperor's oppressive might, Qin Yu said indifferently, "Boom." The rank 5 martial emperor smiled disdainfully and shot forth a palm strike. Space trembled and the vast heaven and earth's great Tao exploded. At this moment, the space within a circumference of 1,000 miles became oppressive. The battle between Qin Yu and Yi Xiaoning was on a completely different level compared to the martial emperor's great Tao's oppressive might. Bang! However, in the next instant, the rank 5 martial emperor's great Tao shattered. As if he had been struck by a giant beast, his body was sent flying while vomiting blood. This aura, the expressions of Yi Tianyu, Zhou Yuan and Qian Yuming changed. They all looked at the person who had appeared before Qin Yu. The person who had attacked was naturally Sun Xiu. The 3 great divine dynasties are famous throughout the southern region. Never would I have imagined that there would be such a scoundrel among them. Sun Xiu took off her veil, and her ordinary face immediately became radiant. She's Sun Xiu? Sun Xiu, one of the 4 great saints of the spiritual state? She's here too? It's really her. The heavenly imperial palace actually sent Sun Xiu to the divine dynasty martial gathering. What are they trying to do? Seeing Sun Xiu's true appearance, countless onlookers exclaimed. Sun Xiu was a genius at the same level as Yi Tianyu and the other 2. She had even defeated Zhou Yuan in the last spiritual state battle ranking. She was extremely talented. She's Sun Xiu? Su Yueqing and the others were even more shocked than when they saw Qin Yu defeat Yi Xiaoyu. In the last spiritual state battle ranking, Sun Xiu was one of the few female geniuses who had entered the top 50. Su Yueqing had always regarded Sun Xiu as her goal. Du Meixian, who had mocked Sun Xiu before, was completely petrified. In front of Sun Xiu, her talent was not even worthy of carrying her shoes. No wonder Sun Xiu and Qian Yuming ignored her mockery. She was probably just a clown in the eyes of Sun Xiu and Qin Yu. I didn't expect Miss Xiu to condescend to watch the martial gathering of the southern region. Sorry for the neglect. Yi Tianyu, Zhou Yuan and Qian Yuming flew into the air and appeared on the battle stage. Only geniuses of the same level could make the 3 of them pay so much attention. Chapter 343. However, Miss Xiu, why did you cause such a ruckus in the martial gathering? Qin Yu had caused such a ruckus in the martial gathering of the divine dynasty. The 3 divine dynasties had lost all their face, and Yi Tianyu had the right to question Shin Tian. The 3 crown princes should know the whole story. If it weren't for that princess, who kept speaking rudely and tarnishing the reputation of the imperial palace of heaven, we wouldn't have done anything. As for what happened, it was indeed Xin Feng's fault, and I apologize to the 3 crown princes on his behalf. However, the 3 crown princes sent martial emperors to fight. Isn't that a loss of the 3 divine dynasties' reputation? Sun Xiu was eloquent. Although she was in the territory of the 3 divine dynasties, she was neither servile nor overbearing. Miss Xiu, what you said is true. It's my fault for not being strict enough. How about this? I'll have someone prepare a banquet to apologize to Miss Xiu and this brother. Yi Tianyu naturally knew the whole story, and he didn't really want to argue with Sun Xiu. He laughed and skipped over the grudge of the martial gathering. I appreciate Crown Prince Ye's kindness, but my palace's elders have come to pick me up. I'll take my leave now. See you at the spiritual state battle ranking. Sun Xiu didn't wait for the 3 to speak, and she left the battle stage with Qin Yu. The limit of a rank 6 martial emperor. Sure enough, Sun Xiu's cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds in the past 3 years. It seems that this year's spiritual state battle ranking is much more exciting than the previous one. Yi Tianyu and the other two crown princes didn't stop Sun Xiu, but looked at her with flickering eyes. When they saw Sun Xiu appear, they knew that Sun Xiu didn't come to watch the martial gathering. Probing their cultivations was the real deal. However, they also knew Sun Xiu's cultivation, and they were more confident. Then, the three of them returned to the judges' table, as if nothing had happened. However, after Sun Xiu left with Qin Yu, the high-level martial emperors of the three divine dynasties disappeared quietly. Whoosh! A pair of white wings appeared on Sun Xiu's back. With a flap of the wings, she moved hundreds of miles away. Someone's catching up. Are they from the three divine dynasties? Qin Yu, who was being carried by Sun Xiu, said with a slightly changed expression. You've messed up the martial gathering of the divine dynasties and humiliated the three divine dynasties. Although they won't bother with us on the surface, who knows what they will do in the dark. Of course, even if they did not cause a ruckus at the martial gathering, the three divine dynasties were still fighting openly and secretly. Since they've discovered me, they'll definitely take action to slander the other party. Sun Xiu didn't seem surprised at all, but she flapped her wings even faster. At that moment, there were a few rank 8 and 9 martial emperors behind them, breaking through the void at lightning speed. Although they had discovered each other, they turned a blind eye to it. His targets were only Sun Xiu and Qin Yu. One of them was one of the 4 heavenly talents of the spiritual state, while the other was a Nirvana First Revolution martial ancestor. Their aptitude was too terrifying, and when they grew up, they would definitely become extremely powerful existences in the Emperor realm. Although the 3 god dynasties and the Sky Emperor Palace did not have much of a grudge against each other, the Sky Emperor Palace did not have much of a grudge against them. But since there was a chance to get rid of Sun Xiu and Qin Yu, they naturally wouldn't let it go. They're finally here. Not long after, Sun Xiu, who was flying at lightning speed, had her eyes lit up, and her expression relaxed. The original speed of the extreme escape had slowed down. Qin Yu raised his head and looked over. He saw that in the distant sky, a world-shaking oppressive might had appeared. Without a doubt, it was definitely an Emperor realm figure. It seemed that Sun Xiu wasn't lying when she said that someone from the Heavenly Imperial Palace would come to pick her up. At that moment, the several martial emperors who had been chasing them sensed the unbridled pressure of an Emperor realm master. Sensing an Emperor realm master, they didn't hesitate and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Xiu. Not long after, a figure fell from the sky like a meteor. One moment, he was far away in the sky, and the next moment, he was in front of Sun Xiu and Qin Yu. It was a man in purple, holding an ancient flute. Fourth uncle. Sun Xiu smiled sweetly when she saw the person. You came to the southern territory with Chun Feng without a single elder. You're getting bolder and bolder. Sun Yunlang scolded as soon as he saw her. Fourth uncle, I have the cloud-concealing veil that you refined. Who in the heaven territory can see through my disguise? Sun Xiu quickly said with a smile when she saw this. Her fourth uncle was not only an Emperor realm master, but also an Emperor-grade artifact refiner. He was famous in the 9 provinces of the heaven territory. Little girl, it's useless to bribe me this time. Your father and your second uncle are both furious. You're going to suffer when you go back this time. Sun Yunlang laughed gloatingly when he heard this. No way, even father and second uncle know about such a small matter? Fourth uncle, you didn't tell on them, did you? Sun Xiu pouted. Haha, with your father's ability, do you think he needs me to tell on them? Sun Yunlang grinned. Oh no. Sun Xiu's face turned bitter. Her father was the high priest of the Heavenly Imperial Palace, and he practiced divination. Divination was far from being able to predict the future and look back to the past. However, it wasn't difficult for him to divine her fate and whereabouts. Let's go back. Sun Yunlang laughed even more when he saw Sun Xiu's bitter face. Sun Xiu had been talented since she was a child, but she had been spoiled since she was young. Qin Yu was related to the future of the heavenly imperial palace, and she dared to bring him out alone. It was good to take this opportunity to teach her a lesson so that she would not act rashly. Although Qin Yu's identity was kept secret in the heavenly imperial palace, it was hard to guarantee that no one would take risks because of speculation. This was something that the higher-ups of the heavenly imperial palace had to avoid at the moment. Sun Xiu and Qin Yu returned to the Southern Territory transmission array 2 days later with the help of the Emperor Realm Sun Yunlang. However, in these 2 days, Sun Xiu and Qin Yu made a big fuss at the Divine Dynasty martial gathering of the 3 great divine dynasties. The news had already spread throughout the entire southern region, and it had even spread to the other 3 regions. In countless versions of the rumor, Qin Yu's name, Xinfeng, became famous throughout the Southern Territory. Countless forces were trying to find out about Qin Yu. First, he easily crushed a Nirvana martial ancestor with his Nirvana first cycle cultivation. Then, he defeated the immeasurable Divine Dynasty's little prince, Qian Qinfeng, and made the 9th princess of the Sage Divine Dynasty admit defeat. Even the 7th prince, Yi Xiaoyu, who was comparable to a martial emperor, was defeated by him. In the Southern Territory, Qin Yu was called an invincible genius under the martial emperor realm by countless busybodies. Some people even put Qin Yu and Sun Xiu, one of the 4 great sages of the spirit state, as the dragon and phoenix duo. Heavenly Imperial Palace. Although Qin Yu had heard about the rumors in the Southern Territory, he did not care at all. After returning, Qin Yu immediately went into seclusion. However, Qin Yu originally planned to cultivate hard and prepare for the Spirit State War ranking after returning, but he changed his mind. On the way back, Qin Yu asked Sun Xiu about the Spirit State War ranking. He learned that only martial emperors could participate in the Spirit State War ranking. The Spirit State War ranking would start in less than 4 months, which directly extinguished Qin Yu's idea. Chapter 344. In less than 4 months. If he cultivated with the help of the Dragon Soul's spacetime ability and supplemented it with various enlightenment pills, Qin Yu was confident that he could break through the Nirvana realm and forcefully break through to the Martial Emperor realm. However, if he did that, his foundation would be unstable. Qin Yu naturally wouldn't do such a thing. Anyway, he could plunder the power of Providence at any time. There was no need to ruin his foundation for the spiritual state battle ranking. The loss outweighed the gain. During his seclusion, in addition to comprehending the Heaven's Fortune technique, Qin Yu was also using the power of the Heavenly Emperor Palace to find a way to break through the void space. From the looks of it, entering the void space was Qin Yu's top priority. If he could enter the void space and subdue the dragon race, then Qin Yu might be able to directly leap into the Martial Emperor realm before the spiritual state battle ranking. In that case, there would be 2 fish in a net. Unfortunately, the Dragon Soul's understanding of the spacetime law was not deep enough. Otherwise, with the power of the spacetime law, it would be possible to directly enter the void space. Therefore, the focus of Qin Yu's seclusion changed from cultivation to carefully comprehending the Heaven's Fortune technique. But Qin Yu didn't know that when he returned to the Heavenly Emperor Palace to cultivate, there was already a group of forces approaching the void space that he was thinking about. Buzz buzz buzz. In the forbidden area of the Fiend Demon Sea, the void shook slightly, and after the array patterns spread out, 7 figures stepped out of the void. The aura exuding from these 7 people was majestic and unfathomable. They were all Emperor Realm Masters. If Qin Yu was here, he would definitely recognize them. The clothes these people wore were exactly the same as the black-clothed old man in Pan Hong's battle. They were all dressed in black with a faint black ghost head mark on their bodies. They were all Emperor Realm Masters of the sacrificial evil god dynasty. Sending out 7 Emperor Realm Masters at once, even if it was the foundation of a god dynasty, was considered a big move. After all, even the divine dynasties had different trump cards. Some had obtained ancient inheritances, while others had risen in recent times. The sacrificial evil god dynasty was a force that had obtained ancient inheritances and was famous in the heaven domain. There are indeed traces of Qianxie's battle here, but I can't sense Qianxie's aura. Apart from Qianxie's Dao power, the other Dao power has been erased. It seems that Qianxie is doomed. What happened? Qianxie is a powerful sovereign in the divine dynasty. Even if he can't beat him, he should be able to escape. I can only say that Qianxie was either surrounded by a desperate situation, or he encountered a ruthless person who could kill a venerable sovereign alone. Who is it? How dare you attack the people of the divine dynasty? No matter what, we must find him and kill him. Search carefully. If something really happened to Qianxie, he should have left behind some information. The 7 Emperor Realm Masters of Sacrificial Evil God Dynasty discussed with each other before immediately spreading out to search the Fiend Demon Sea. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. In the last 2 months, all the forces in the 4 regions of the spiritual state focused their attention on one thing. The spiritual state battle ranking would be held in 2 months. Boom. But on this day, in the southern territory of the spiritual state, a huge pillar of spiritual chi rushed into the sky. The southern territory was shaken, and in less than half a day, the news spread throughout the spiritual state. Buzz, buzz. In the heavenly imperial palace, Qin Yu, who was cultivating in seclusion, suddenly changed his expression. The dragon soul also appeared in the ancient dragon seal. The mark left in the Fiend Demon Sea has fallen into another space. The dragon soul's eyes flashed. The mark that Qin Yu secretly left in the Fiend Demon Sea was integrated with the dragon soul's space-time divine ability. It could merge with the void, making it undetectable. And there was another use. As long as the void space was opened, then the imprint would be guided by the power of space and enter the void dimension. But now, in other words, the void space has been opened. Qin Yu's eyes flashed with joy. This was really a big surprise. He was worried that he couldn't open the void space. He didn't expect that the void space would be opened. It should be. The dragon's soul was also quite excited. Qin Yu's mind moved, and an ancient spiritual rune array appeared in the spiritual array disk. As the rune trembled, a white skeleton figure appeared in the teleportation array. At this time, in a certain confinement room in the heavenly imperial palace. Click. The confinement room was opened, and Sun Xiu, who was meditating in seclusion, opened her eyes strangely. Miss, the palace lord wants you to go to the sacred palace. The descendant of the war emperor who opened the door of the confinement room said respectfully. The palace lord wants me? What's the matter? Sun Xiu was a little puzzled. She had been in seclusion for 3 months, and it seemed that the time was not up yet. I don't know, but the high priest is also there. It seems that there is something important to discuss. The descendant of the war emperor said. Father is also there? Sun Xiu's expression turned serious. If there was nothing important, her father would not leave the celestial tower. Sun Xiu immediately went to the sacred palace of the heavenly imperial palace. When she entered the sacred palace, she found that there were 3 figures in the sacred palace. Palace Lord, Father, Second Uncle. Sun Xiu bowed. Apart from Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao, there was also a man in a starry robe with a white beard that reached his waist. The man in the starry robe was Sun Xiu's father, the high priest of the heavenly imperial palace, Sun Guxing. Xiu, did you and Xin Feng go to the southern forbidden land, the fiendish demon sea? Seeing Sun Xiu's arrival, Shi Tiangang did not beat around the bush, and went straight to the point. Yes? Sun Xiu nodded, but she was a little surprised. Didn't she ask about this matter the last time? Then do you know why Xin Feng went to the fiendish demon sea? Sun Guxing asked. His voice was old, like an old man past his prime. However, the aura on his body was as vast as the sea, without any signs of weakening. I asked Shinfeng, but he did not say. Sun Xiu shook her head. Then, a thought flashed across her mind and she asked, "It's the fiendish demon sea. Did something happen?" Sun Xiu remembered the battle between Pan Hong and Qian Xie in the fiendish demon sea. The two sovereigns were fighting there, and Qin Yu was so concerned about the fiendish demon sea. Something must be wrong there. A void space appeared in the fiendish demon sea, and now the whole spiritual state knows about it. According to the divination, there should be an ancient heavenly Qilin in there. Sun Gushing said. An ancient heavenly Qilin. Sun Xiu's eyes lit up. The heavenly imperial palace had spent a lot of effort to find the 4 great divine herbs in the past few months. Now, a divine herb had finally appeared. Father, do you think that Shinfeng went to the fiendish demon sea because he already knew about the void space? But soon, the excited Sun Xiu came to her senses and understood why her father had asked about Qin Yu. Shinfeng is the only person in the history of the heavenly imperial palace who has obtained all the divine skills of the 3 sovereigns. He is also the only person who has entered the divine skill space of the 3 sovereigns so far. Therefore, he should not have gone to the fiendish demon sea for no reason. Maybe he learned something from the inheritance of the 3 sovereigns' divine skills. Sun Gushing nodded slowly. That was what they were concerned about. Until now, the only information about the 4 great divine herbs was the ancient heavenly Qilin. Chapter 345. Shinfeng should have a purpose for going to the fiendish demon sea. But I think that if he already knew the whereabouts of the ancient heavenly Qilin, he wouldn't have deliberately hidden it from us. After all, he is the descendant of the 3 emperors and has refined the immortal emperor pill. It will be helpful for him to awaken the divine emperor bloodline. Sun Xiu felt that her father's words made sense. But she also felt that there was no need for Qin Yu to deliberately hide this matter. Ever since the descendants of the divine emperor went to the ancient imperial martial world, they have become estranged from our 2 factions. As a result, he became estranged from our 2 factions, and there was even a clear conflict between us. They should be feeling indignant for the ancestors of their lineage who died. Shinfeng may have been influenced by their elders and deliberately concealed information from us. You also know that the whereabouts of the 4 divine herbs are very important to our heavenly imperial palace. So, this time, you have to find out when you go to the void. Does Qin Yu know the exact whereabouts of the ancient heavenly Qilin in the void? Sun Jiuxiao said. If Qin Yu knew the exact whereabouts of the ancient heavenly Qilin, it was very likely that he was hiding something from them. But unfortunately, Sun Jiuxiao and the others were thinking too much. The reason why Qin Yu went to the fiendish demon sea was purely a coincidence. Father, do you mean to send Qin Yu to the void? Sun Xiu didn't react. Didn't it mean that the appearance of the void was known by the entire spiritual state? At this time, countless major forces must have gone there. Father and the others were going to send her and Qin Yu? Were they not afraid that something would happen to Qin Yu? There's a terrifying Tao forbidding formation in the illusionary space. Not only can Emperor Realm cultivators not enter, but even martial emperors have a bone age limit. In other words, only the younger generation can enter the void. Sun Gushing said. If that is the case, I can go. Why would Shinfeng go? Sun Xiu was even more surprised. Qin Yu's combat strength could be considered invincible in the martial ancestor realm. But in the martial emperor realm, it was not enough. Under such circumstances, even Sun Xiu was not absolutely confident that she could protect Qin Yu. Moreover, wasn't her objective to vie for the ancient heavenly Qilin? If he brought along Qin Yu, who was a burden, wouldn't it be obvious that he was giving the heavenly Qilin away? A true ancient divine beast, in the entire 9 continents of the heaven domain, no force would not be tempted. I don't know where Shinfeng got the news from, but he already knows about the appearance of the void space. He personally came to find me. His attitude was very firm. No matter what, he had to go to the void space. We have no choice but to agree. Shi Tiangang said helplessly. No matter how they looked at it, they didn't want Qin Yu to take the risk. However, due to Qin Yu's special status, they couldn't treat Qin Yu the way they treated ordinary juniors. With their strength, they could forcibly control Qin Yu and prevent him from leaving. In that case, Qin Yu would definitely be estranged from them. It was already hard to stop the infighting between the descendants of generals. Shi Tiangang and the others did not want to cause their own people to be at odds with each other. All right, I will ask clearly this time whether Shenfeng knew about this long ago. Hearing this, Sun Xiu understood. The heavenly imperial palace could allow Qin Yu to take the risk, but there were some matters of principle that had to be clarified. Xiu, go and inform Shenfeng. I will bring you to the southern region later. Shi Tiangang said to Sun Xiu. Yes. Sun Xiu nodded and turned to leave. The entire spiritual state knows about the appearance of the void space this time. The other 6 top forces and the 10 overlords will not let go of this opportunity. They will definitely send the elites of the younger generation. Therefore, other than Xiu and Jingtian, shouldn't we send them as well? Seeing that Sun Xiu had left, Sun Jiuxiao looked at Shi Tiangang and Sun Guxing. After all, the ancient heavenly qilin was of great importance. They had to obtain it at all costs. If they missed this opportunity, how could they find another ancient heavenly qilin? Who knew how long they would have to wait? How are they doing now? Shi Tiangang asked after pondering for a moment. On the surface, Sun Xiu and Shi Jingtian were the most outstanding martial ancestors of the younger generation in the heavenly imperial palace. However, in reality, the heavenly imperial palace had secretly nurtured many outstanding talents. For example, Sun Jiuxiao was definitely one of the top sovereigns in the heavenly imperial palace. However, not many people in the outside world knew about Sun Jiuxiao. Sun Jiuxiao had been operating in the dark. He was responsible for many of the problems that the heavenly imperial palace could not solve on the surface. Naturally, a group of nameless experts who were loyal to the heavenly imperial palace had gathered under Sun Jiuxiao. To put it bluntly, they were like the men of sacrifice that many forces would have. They have just merged with the power of inheritance and are not in a stable state. However, their strength has reached the standard. If they join forces, they will not be inferior to Xiu and Jingtian. The people that Sun Jiuxiao mentioned were the seeds that had just received the inheritance from the heavenly imperial palace. Although their talents were not as good as Sun Xiu and Shi Jingtian, their strength was not weak. At the current stage, there were no more suitable candidates than them. Then let them go with us. However, don't use the descendants of the 12 war generals. Shi Tiangang pondered for a while and made up his mind. If the older generation experts could not enter the void space, with one more martial emperor, they would have more combat power to obtain the ancient heavenly qilin. I know what to do. Sun Jiuxiao nodded. With a flash of lightning, he disappeared. In the main hall of the heavenly imperial palace, Qin Yu and Sun Xiu were waiting for Shi Tiangang's arrival. Senior sister, if you look at me like that, others will misunderstand. Qin Yu turned his head helplessly and said to Sun Xiu, who had been sizing him up ever since they came out, I haven't seen you for 2 months. Your cultivation has improved again. Sun Xiu coughed softly, thinking about how to start the conversation. She had been in seclusion for 2 months and her cultivation had improved. However, Qin Yu had broken through 1 level and reached the Nirvana second transformation of the martial ancestor realm. Just say it. With Qin Yu's eyesight, he could tell that Sun Xiu had been sizing him up. It was obvious that she had something to say. When you went to the southern region's fiendish demon sea, did you already know that there was a void space there? Sun Xiu was straightforward when she heard this. She didn't conceal anything and went straight to the point. Yes. Qin Yu nodded. Since the void space had shown up, there was no need for him to deny it. You knew? Why didn't you tell me about such a serious matter? Sun Xiu subconsciously raised her voice. It seemed like Qin Yu was indeed hiding something. What do you mean? Qin Yu was confused. The dragon tribe in the void space was indeed very important to him. However, it didn't seem to have anything to do with the heavenly imperial palace, right? You didn't know that there was an ancient heavenly qilin in the void space? Qin Yu's reaction startled Sun Xiu. Chapter 346. How would I know? I don't know anything about divination, Qin Yu said curiously. Then why did you go to the void dimension last time? Sun Xiu let out a sigh of relief. As a matter of fact, considering the talent Qin Yu had displayed, she did not want Qin Yu to be estranged from the empresses. Sun Xiu had been surprised by Qin Yu's strength during the trial at the Godly Emperor Tower. However, just like the others of the Sky Emperor Palace, she assumed that Qin Yu had defeated the martial progenitors of the Sky Emperor Palace because he had used the power of the Godly Emperor. However, the battle between Qin Yu and Yi Xiaoning at the martial gathering of the gods had left Sun Xiu in awe. Yi Xiaoning's strength was definitely at the martial monarch realm. However, Qin Yu had defeated Yi Xiaoning without relying on his spiritual puppet skeleton. Most importantly, it had only been half a year since he had returned from the 7 great martial gatherings. Qin Yu's cultivation had risen from the 7th layer martial progenitor realm to the 2nd cycle of the Nirvana realm. Such astonishing progress made Sun Xiu feel a sense of urgency that she had felt before even more intense. Qin Yu's talent was most likely on par with hers. I have my reasons, but it's not for the ancient heavenly qilin. Qin Yu did not mention anything about the dragon tribe. Although the ancient heavenly qilin was an ancient godly beast, the value of a real dragon was on par with the ancient heavenly qilin. The Golden Flame's heaven-incinerating dragon was only an infant because of the prophecy left by the 3 martial progenitors. Therefore, the Sky Emperor Palace had not brought it back from the ancient imperial palace. If the Sky Emperor Palace learned about the dragon tribe, they might interfere too. Sun Xiu nodded and did not ask any further. According to her understanding of Qin Yu, since Qin Yu had said so, then even if she continued to ask, she would definitely not get an answer. As for Qin Yu's motive, she would know once she went to the void dimension. A while later, footsteps were heard. Shi Tiangang strode forward with his head held high. Behind Shi Tiangang, 15 figures followed. Other than Shi Jingtian and Qin Yu, the other 14 Taoists were unfamiliar with them. They seemed to be the same age as Sun Xiu and Shi Jingtian, but their cultivations had reached the martial emperor realm. Obviously, they were all talented people. Among the 14 people, 2 of them should have awakened the bloodline of the 3 sovereigns. Qin Yu sensed unique bloodline fluctuations from them. As for the other 12 people, Qin Yu was rather concerned about them. This was because their auras were actually faintly fused together as if they were one. Xin Feng is also going to the southern region? Shi Jingtian was surprised to see Qin Yu, who was a martial ancestor, present. Surprise flashed through the eyes of the 2 descendants of the 3 emperors. It was said that the trip to the southern region was extremely dangerous. Therefore, the other young martial emperors in the palace who were weaker did not go out. They only sent a few martial emperor elite. Wouldn't Xin Feng, a mere martial progenitor, be a burden if he were to tag along? Everyone is here. Let's go. Shi Tiangong's gaze paused on Qin Yu, ignoring the doubts of Shi Jingtian and the others. He led the younger generation of martial emperors to the teleportation hall. 2 hours later, in the southern region's fiendish demon sea, a white light tore through the sky and appeared in the sky above the fiendish demon sea. It was Shi Tiangang and the others. At the same time, in the deepest part of the fiendish demon sea, 100-foot-wide spatial crack appeared in the meteorite area that Qin Yu had previously explored. Vast and astonishing spatial fluctuations were being emitted from the spatial crack. With that spatial fissure as the center, the sky and the ground, thousands of li in radius, were filled with people at a glance. At this moment, the strength of the forces was clearly displayed. The central area was basically occupied by the various major forces. The weaker the forces, the further back they were. As for those on the ground, they were basically people with no background or small forces. Fairy Shualan has indeed been here. After following Shi Tiangang into the central area, the dragon's soul sensed for a moment and said. From the spatial crack, the dragon's soul sensed the unique fluctuations of Fairy Shualan's Tao. It was exactly the same as the Tao in the blood mist demon stream. Qin Yu also sensed it carefully and quickly understood. Why was it that only the younger generation of martial emperors could enter the empty space? This void space was sealed by Fairy Shualan's mysterious Tao. The power was so strong that Qin Yu felt that it was even stronger than when he was at his peak. Could it be that Fairy Shualan has broken through the limit of the Emperor realm and left the heaven region? Thinking back to the blood mist demon stream and how Fairy Shualan had said that she would not return, Qin Yu could not help but have such a thought. Fairy Shualan's origin was a mystery and her Tao was special. This was not impossible. Speaking of which, why would there be such a huge commotion when this void space appeared? Don't you know? I heard that the sacrificial evil god dynasty wanted to force Emperor Realm Masters into this void space. As a result, they triggered a barrier. It is said that the sacrificial evil god dynasty seriously injured several Emperor Realm Masters because of this. I wonder who was the person who left this Tao restriction in this void space? Even an Emperor Realm Master suffered a backlash? I don't know, but it is definitely a peak Emperor Realm Master. Maybe it was left behind by an ancient master. The treasures hidden in this void space sealed by such a master are definitely extraordinary. Unfortunately, only the younger generation with a suitable bone age can enter. The treasures inside are not for us at all. That's right. This time, many major forces have already come. Even a few of the 7 top forces and 10 superpowers have come. They might even gather together. We can't compete with those monsters who are on the battle ranking. If that's the case, this void space is a warm-up for the war ranking competition in 2 months. As more and more cultivators gathered, the sound of discussions rang out incessantly. Sacrificial evil god dynasty? Qin Yu and the Dragon Soul, who were sensing the void space, heard the discussion of the sacrificial evil god dynasty. Terrifying killing intent surged in their hearts. The ancient evil god emperor of the sacrificial evil god dynasty was one of the 12 ancient emperors that Xing Luo had joined forces with. Thousands of years had passed. Qin Yu did not expect that the sacrificial evil god dynasty had moved from the East continent to the spiritual state. I remember now. Isn't the old man who fought with Pan Hong from the sacrificial evil god dynasty? The dragon's soul seemed to have suddenly remembered something and shouted, "It's him." Qin Yu's expression changed. After thinking about it carefully, the killing intent in his heart grew stronger. The black-clothed old man who fought with Pan Hong was not only from the sacrificial evil god dynasty. Back in the immortal god graveyard, he assisted the 12 ancient emperors and Xing Luo to set up the absolute heaven array to seal him. However, Qin Yu's main target was Xing Luo and the 12 ancient emperors, so he did not pay attention to the black-clothed old man. Chapter 347. When I saw him that day, I felt that he looked familiar. The dragon's soul said with murderous intent. That day, when they saw that Pan Hong had also reached the Emperor realm, they had neglected the old man. So, the people from the sacrificial evil god dynasty should be here too. The murderous intent in Qin Yu's heart was like a raging river, but he didn't show it on his face. He quietly observed the surrounding forces. Suddenly, Qin Yu's gaze paused. A few hundred meters away from them, a group of people in black gathered. It was the symbol of the sacrificial evil god dynasty. Qin Yu didn't stare at them. After sweeping his gaze over the people from the sacrificial evil god dynasty, he retracted his gaze. The murderous intent in his heart was also quietly withdrawn. Speaking of which, Pan Hong and the people from the sacrificial evil god dynasty couldn't be the same as Long Hao, right? At this moment, a look of contemplation flashed in the dragon soul's eyes. Pan Hong has a calm temperament. He should know that he has no chance of winning against the sacrificial evil god dynasty, so he won't act rashly. Qin Yu didn't see through Pan Hong's specific cultivation that day, but it was far from the level of the ancient emperors. With Pan Hong's character, even if he wanted to avenge him, he should first conserve his energy. If I had known, I would have met Pan Hong directly last time. The dragon soul still felt that the battle between Pan Hong and the people from the sacrificial evil god dynasty had something to do with Qin Yu. At this time, the fewer people who know my identity, the safer it will be. Whether it is for us or for those who know my identity, it is the same. Hearing this, Qin Yu said, Star Luo and the 12 ancient emperors would definitely not want him to reincarnate. Once they found out about this, there was no need to say anything. What awaited him would be an earth-shattering pursuit. Whether it was his eldest senior brother, Pan Hong, Heavenly Imperial Palace, or even the entire Heaven Domain. No force could stop them if they joined forces. Therefore, before he recovered the cultivation of his previous life, Qin Yu's identity had to be kept a secret. Although he would repay the debt of his previous life with blood, he had to have a plan. The reason Qin Yu wanted to create Eternal Dragon was to prepare for his revenge. Heavenly Imperial Palace, Sage Divine Dynasty, Ancient Cold Island. 3 of the 7 top forces have arrived. Qin Yu looked around and found the people from the sacrificial evil god dynasty. Because of the arrival of Sky Emperor Palace, the cultivators of countless forces were engaged in heated discussions. Sky Imperial Palace is indeed a top force. They have 14 young martial emperors. Sun Xiu, one of the 4 ghosts, is here as expected. The sky prides around Sun Xiu are all powerful. I'm afraid they're strong enough to make it to the battle roll. Why is there a martial ancestor here? Martial ancestor realm? No way. Why would the Heavenly Imperial Palace send a martial progenitor to such an occasion? Isn't this guy the monster who caused a ruckus at the martial gathering of the 3 divine dynasties in the southern region? That's right, it's indeed this young man who has suppressed the entire martial progenitor realm of the southern region to the point where no one dares to challenge him. He's undefeatable among the martial progenitors, so he's going to challenge a martial emperor? Due to the martial gathering of the southern region divine dynasty, Qin Yu's reputation in the Heavenly Imperial Palace had surpassed that of Shi Jingtian and the others who were at the martial emperor realm. He was comparable to Sun Xiu. Regardless of the era, those who were undefeatable among the same rank were rare talents that only appeared once every few hundred years. Furthermore, Qin Yu was undefeatable among those who were at a higher cultivation level. Such an existence was even rarer. This guy has completely trampled on all the martial progenitors in the southern region. His reputation has spread far and wide. Zhou Yuan exclaimed in the Sage Divine Dynasty, one of the top 7 forces. The martial gathering that the 3 divine dynasties of the southern region had prepared had turned out to be Qin Yu's stepping stone to fame. It can't be helped. The martial progenitors in the southern region are weaker than him. In the Wuliang Divine Dynasty, one of the top 10 forces near the Sage Divine Dynasty, Qian Yuming was calm. In the past 2 months, the news about Qin Yu had spread like wildfire in the southern region. It was difficult for anyone to not know about it. However, is the Heavenly Imperial Palace really going to send him to the empty space? In the Heavenly Spirit Divine Dynasty, one of the top 10 forces, a strange look flashed across Yi Tianyu's eyes. There was no doubt that Qin Yu's combat talent was undefeatable among the martial progenitors. However, in the martial emperor realm, it was nothing. Right now, Qin Yu had already revealed his abilities. who knew how many powers had already set their eyes on him. Not to mention others, even the 3 divine dynasties would not mind getting rid of Qin Yu if they had the chance. Perhaps they just brought him here to broaden his horizons. Zhou Yuan and Qian Yuming were also skeptical about this. The Heavenly Sun Holy Land is here. At this moment, Zhou Yuan's expression changed as he tilted his head to look at the horizon. A golden-purple flame flickered in the sky as if it had traveled through the void. In an instant, it had arrived at the center of the fiendish demon sea. It was a 3-legged golden crow that was burning with raging flames. However, the flames on the 3-legged golden crow were golden-purple and looked noble and extraordinary. Many forces that had arrived at the center of the area could not help but retreat. Although the purple-gold flames were not targeted at them, just approaching them was enough to make their hair stand on end. They could not stay for long. It was the ancient demonic beast, the purple-gold 3-spirit crow. This was the saint beast of the Heavenly Sun Holy Land, one of the top forces. Its power was enough to crush ordinary Emperor Realm Masters. Yi Tianyu's eyes narrowed slightly. His natal fire seed was completely suppressed in front of the purple-gold 3-spirit crow. The purple-gold 3-spirit crow was a pure descendant of the golden crow and could be considered a sentient life form. In front of his fire Dao ability, there were very few fire seeds that weren't suppressed. There were more than 10 figures standing on the back of the purple-gold 3-spirit crow. Although there were venerable sovereigns among the dozen or so people, the most eye-catching one was a burly young man surrounded by purple flames. Mysterious fire runes appeared on the young man's face. His aura was one with the purple-gold 3-spirit crow, and his power was shocking. Tang Mingxin, seeing the burly young man, Sun Xiu and Zhou Yuan's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Tang Mingxin, one of the 4 great sages, the holy son of the Heavenly Sun Holy Land. Although Tang Mingxin was a rising star in the last war ranking. However, he had been famous in the spiritual state for a long time. Because Tang Mingxin had an innate fire god body. Among the many emperor physiques, the innate fire god body was definitely the top emperor physique. In the history of the heavenly realm, there had been 2 fire gods. One was born in the ancient times, and the other could be traced back to the ancient times. As for the rumors of the 2 fire gods, there was very little information that could be confirmed. However, there was one thing that was truly recorded. The 2 fire gods were both innate fire god bodies. In the long history of the heavenly realm, there had been countless Emperor Realm Masters. However, it was extremely rare to be able to be crowned with the words immortal or god after becoming an Emperor Realm Master. Each of them was a peak existence of an era. Tang Mingxin had such an emperor physique, so he was naturally a famous genius in the spiritual state. His reputation was even above Sun Xiu and Zhou Yuan. Chapter 348. From the looks of it, the 7 top factions will really gather here. Looking at Tang Mingxin, Qian Yuming muttered to himself. In the 4 regions of the spirit state, there were only 7 forces that could be considered as top forces. Sacrificial Evil God Dynasty, Heavenly Imperial Palace, Heavenly Sun Holy Land, Sage Divine Dynasty, Xianyuan Family, Ancient Cold Island, and Wanwu Sect. These 7 top forces stood at the peak of the spirit state, looking down on all the heroes. Following closely behind the 7 top forces were the 10 super forces. The Heavenly Spirit God Dynasty and the Immeasurable God Dynasty were the 10 super forces. It could be said that 80 to 90% of the territory of the spirit state was divided by these 17 forces. As time passed, famous forces from the 4 regions of the spirit state continued to arrive. One after another, famous emperors and talented young geniuses of the spirit state appeared. No force in the spirit state would not be tempted by a void space that could cause a backlash from an Emperor Realm Master. Boom! 4 days later. Suddenly, another huge pillar of spiritual chi shot up into the sky from the 100-meter-long void crack, shaking the entire southern region. After this pillar of spiritual chi shot up into the sky, countless visible Taoist spirit inscriptions appeared in the void crack. Seeing those Taoist spirit inscriptions, all the forces that had gathered were excited. Only the people from the sacrificial evil god dynasty looked quite upset. Several emperors from their dynasty wanted to break those Taoist spirit inscriptions, so they were unlucky and were seriously injured by the backlash. For an emperor realm master, being hit by the backlash of other Taoist spirit inscriptions was not an ordinary injury. If they were not careful, it was very likely that they would have permanent internal injuries. After those Taoist spirit inscriptions appeared, they gradually became dim and illusory, then dissipated under the gaze of tens of thousands of people. Immediately, pure spiritual energy surged out from the spatial rift like a torrent, and it instantly engulfed an area of 5,000 kilometers. The restriction at the entrance has been lifted. Go in. At this moment, all the emperors present immediately took action. They sent the young geniuses of the various forces through the void crack and into the void space. About half an hour later, after the various major forces had made their moves, the battle continued. The young geniuses of the small forces could not hold back and flew into the void crack one after another. None of the major forces present tried to stop them. This void space was not a secret realm that only belonged to them. They were not so bossy as to forbid people from other forces from entering. Bang! Suddenly, an explosion was heard. It was a cultivator. The moment he stepped into the crack, he was shocked. His entire body was crushed into powder by the force of the Tao art. Not even the slightest trace of his remains was left behind, which dissipated into the air. This attracted the attention of many factions that had gathered. They were all astonished and engaged in heated discussions. However, the Emperor Realm Master's expressions didn't change at all. They had clearly seen the person earlier. Although he was only a martial emperor, his bone age was definitely over 30. These major factions had personally tested the waters. There were still some people who wanted to take advantage of the situation and sneak into the void space. They were really stupid. However, with the previous example, the other martial emperors who were originally itching to make a move could not help but withdraw their thoughts. Although opportunities were important, one had to be alive to enjoy them. The power of a peak emperor realm Tao technique. In the fiendish demon sea, a white-clothed young man with a cold face and a faint cold aura surrounded his body. When he saw the martial emperor who had been turned into powder, his eyes flickered with a strange light. After waiting for a while, a gray ancient iron ring appeared in the white-clothed young man's hand. After putting the iron ring on his hand, the young man flew into the sky and entered the void crack. When he came into contact with the void crack, the terrifying power of the Tao art surged out again. However, at this moment, the ancient iron ring in the young man's hand flashed with a deep light. Immediately, the terrifying power of the Tao art that had surged out dissipated after a slight stalemate. The young man heaved a sigh of relief. He turned into a cold light and immediately entered the void crack. That person just now. Has he reached the limit of his bone age? The abnormality of the Tao art in the void crack could not be hidden from the Emperor Realm Masters. However, they only took a glance and withdrew their gazes. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At the peak of a 10,000-foot tall mountain, a hurricane that was as sharp as a blade whistled and swept through the world. Suddenly, a light flashed and more than a dozen figures appeared on the mountain peak. They were Qin Yu and the others from the heavenly imperial palace. At this moment, such a scene was playing out continuously in the void crack. Qin Yu and the others had just flown out of the blade-like hurricane and were about to land on the mountain peak. Roar! Suddenly, the mountain peak transformed into a giant beast that was over 10,000 zhang tall. It opened its bloody mouth and bit towards Qin Yu and the others, as if it wanted to swallow them whole. It was an earth element spiritual beast that had turned into a mountain peak, and its cultivation had reached the martial emperor realm. Slash! A sharp light flashed in Shi Jingtian's eyes and a giant saber appeared in his hand. Saber runes filled the air and flickered as he slashed his saber. With a flash of white light, the saber light slashed into the giant beast's mouth and disappeared. In the next moment, tens of millions of saber lights appeared and the giant beast exploded, turning into countless rocks and soil. With a single slash, a martial emperor realm spiritual beast was killed. Shi Jingtian's strength was undoubtedly strong. Xinfeng, which direction do you think we should go? They fly down and land on a huge rock. Sun Xiu then looks at Qin Yu. Although Qin Yu said that his goal was not the ancient heavenly Qilin, Sun Xiu still wanted to go. Sun Xiu wanted to see if Qin Yu knew the location of the ancient heavenly Qilin. The west. This time around, even without using the Dragon Soul's secret technique, Qin Yu was still able to clearly sense that vast amount of Dragon Clan. Sister Xiu, didn't the Palace Master say that there is a divination spiritual talisman that can help us find the ancient heavenly Qilin? Shi Jingtian asked when he saw that Sun Xiu was asking Qin Yu. There is indeed a divination spiritual talisman. Sun Xiu nodded and moved her right hand. An ancient divine talisman appeared in her hand. This was given to her by her father, and it contained the power of divination that could help them find the ancient heavenly Qilin. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As Sun Xiu's true origin energy poured in, the divination spiritual talisman immediately trembled in the southeast direction. Over there. Shi Jingtian's eyes flashed with joy as he looked in the direction where the divination spiritual talisman was trembling. It seems like we have to split up, Qin Yu said when he saw the situation. It was much more convenient for him to act alone. After all, he did not want them to see him subduing the dragon race for the time being. Split up? Why? Shi Jingtian looked at Qin Yu in confusion. Who knew how many martial emperors had entered the empty space? Given their strength, they might not be able to capture the ancient heavenly Qilin. If they split up, did they want the ancient heavenly Qilin to be taken away by other forces? Chapter 349. Our mission is to capture the ancient heavenly Qilin. Xinfeng, I don't know why you entered the void space. But right now, capturing the ancient heavenly Qilin is our main mission. Sun Xiu also frowned. She didn't expect Qin Yu to ignore the big picture even at this moment. What I mean is, I'll go alone. You guys go capture the ancient heavenly Qilin together. After all, with my strength, I won't be able to help you, said Qin Yu. No. Before Shi Jingtian could say anything, Sun Xiu had already made her decision. If they wanted to capture the ancient heavenly Qilin, nothing could happen to Qin Yu. Don't worry. I have a contracted soul puppet. Even if I can't defeat it, nothing will happen. Qin Yu willed and a white light flashed. The skeleton ghost king appeared. After cultivating in the blood demon continent for several months, the skeleton ghost king's cultivation had also increased rapidly. It had already reached the peak of rank 5 martial emperor. In terms of cultivation, it was no weaker than Shi Jingtian, who was a rank 5 martial emperor. This skeleton ghost king's cultivation has become so powerful? Sun Xiu took a glance and a trace of shock flashed through her eyes. Compared to when they were in the Divine Moon Imperial Tomb, the skeleton ghost king's cultivation had undergone an earth-shattering change. Xinfeng, since you have such a powerful soul puppet, you should go with us. Shi Jingtian was also a little surprised, but he quickly replied. I'm sorry. The ancient heavenly Qilin is very important to you guys. But what I'm going to do is also very important to me. Farewell. Qin Yu didn't waste any more words. He put away the skeleton ghost king and a yellow light flashed on his body. He burrowed into the ground and instantly disappeared several hundred feet away. Divine ability secret technique, earth burrowing technique. This guy. Shi Jingtian's face sank. He wanted to go and capture Qin Yu. Forget it. Since he dares to go alone, he should be able to protect himself. Let's go and capture the ancient heavenly Qilin first. Sun Xiu stopped Shi Jingtian and flew in the direction of the divination talisman. Since Qin Yu didn't want them to go with him, there must be something that he didn't want them to know. Sister Xiu, this guy isn't just a simple descendant of the Divine Emperor, right? During the flight, Shi Jingtian asked Sun Xiu curiously. As a core disciple, Shi Jingtian could naturally see Qin Yu's status in Sky Imperial Palace. It could be said that the importance of Qin Yu in the Heavenly Imperial Palace was even higher than Shi Jingtian. He was comparable to Sun Xiu. In the past, none of the descendants of the three sovereigns in the Heavenly Imperial Palace could be compared with Sun Xiu, including Shi Jingtian. But now, Qin Yu had broken this precedent. Shi Jingtian couldn't figure it out. His position in the palace is indeed not just that of a descendant of the three emperors. However, I cannot tell you the specifics, Sun Xiu said telepathically. Her position in the Sky Emperor Palace was much higher than what outsiders thought. She knew many of the palace's secrets. As for the reason, it was naturally because she possessed the strongest bloodline of the three sovereigns after the era of the three sovereigns ended. As long as the bloodline was awakened, it was possible to reach the stage of atavism. Because of this, the upper echelons of the Sky Emperor Palace allowed Sun Xiu to come in contact with various matters. If there were no accidents, Sun Xiu would be in charge of the Heavenly Imperial Palace in the future. All right. Shi Jingtian also knew the rules of the Heavenly Imperial Palace, so he didn't ask too much. At this moment, Qin Yu, who was using the earth tunneling technique, quickly headed west after separating from Sun Xiu and the others. From the aura of the dragon race, it should be a high-level divine dragon. Its cultivation should be at least above rank 5 Martial Emperor. Don't we need to make any preparations? With a flash of light, the dragon's soul appeared from the divine dragon ancient seal and reminded Qin Yu. Since this void space was left behind by Fairy Shuelon, there's no need to make any preparations. A smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. The dragon's soul was slightly stunned. It seemed to have thought of something and nodded. With Fairy Shuelon's character, she should have left behind some methods to help Qin Yu. Just like the dragon soul that sealed the ancient sky dragon. Amen? After traveling several thousand miles underground, the dragon soul that followed Qin Yu changed its expression slightly. Its space-time ability immediately spread out. Almost at this moment, a destructive fluctuation of the great Tao exploded. The depths of the ground where Qin Yu was turned into a frightening pit several hundred miles wide. Dust filled the air and violent great Tao energy shook. At the center of the pit, Qin Yu, who was enveloped by the indestructible Stone Emperor's seal, appeared. He raised his head and looked at the people who attacked above the pit. The descendants of the 12 generals. Qin Yu recognized them after taking a glance. Although the 3 people who attacked had unfamiliar faces and were not wearing the Heavenly Imperial Palace's attire, Qin Yu recognized them. However, Qin Yu was able to sense the bloodline power of the 12 battle generals from their bodies. Although it was faintly discernible, there was no doubt that they were the 12 generals. Qin Yu had fought with the descendants of the 12 generals in the Divine Sovereign Tower. He definitely wouldn't be mistaken about their bloodline power. Since you're so eager to die, I can only send you on your way. Cold killing intent flashed in Qin Yu's eyes as he slowly rose into the air. He was still wondering why the descendants of the 12 generals didn't receive any news of such a huge commotion. Now, it seemed that they had already avoided the 3 emperors' forces and were secretly taking action. Who is that young man? Who cares who he is? Kill them both. The 3 descendants of the war emperors had indifferent expressions. They looked at Qin Yu and the dragon soul as if they were looking at dead people. With their cultivation of martial emperors, it was naturally easy for them to deal with 2 puny martial ancestors. a rank 4 martial emperor and 2 rank 3 martial emperors. The dragon soul grinned, its killing intent surging. This kind of trash was simply courting death. Sky covering formation. Facing the 3 martial emperors, Qin Yu's cold expression did not change. He simply opened his right hand. Formation runes spread out from his palm. In an instant, the formation runes covered the entire crater. They turned into an enormous formation that covered the sky and imprisoned the 3 martial emperors. Originally, the 3 of them were still on guard. However, after carefully sensing the formation, they all smiled in contempt. What could a mere divine-level formation rune do to them? Die. The 3 great daos of heaven and earth surged toward Qin Yu like the wind and clouds. Bang! Right at this moment, a white silhouette flashed through the sky and shot forth a punch. The 3 great daos of destruction that came crashing down were directly shattered into pieces. As for the 3 martial emperors, they were knocked back several hundred meters. Peak rank 5 martial emperor? Not good. Quickly retreat. They focused their gazes and their expressions changed enormously. They no longer cared about killing Qin Yu and immediately wanted to escape. Although there were 3 of them, they did not have the slightest bit of battle intent when facing the skeleton ghost king. They were not Sun Xiu. They did not have the strength to fight enemies of a higher cultivation than them. However, when they were preparing to escape, they discovered that the mere divine-level formation set up by Qin Yu was actually not destroyed even after being bombarded several hundred times by them. Chapter 350. A cold smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. How could the heaven-concealing formation formed by fusing the War Emperor transformation with the power of formations be judged by its rank? Although the great Tao of heaven and earth was powerful, with their cultivation of rank 3 and 4 martial emperors, it was impossible for them to break through it within 10 breaths. To martial emperors, 10 breaths was more than enough for them to do. In that short period of time, the skeleton ghost king had already caught up to them with a leap. Fist rays as heavy as mountains bombarded them like a torrential storm. The entire void was trembling non-stop, showing signs of collapsing. The 3 martial emperors had no power to fight back at all. They could only defend themselves. After being defeated again and again, they immediately fell into the danger of death. That's his contracted spirit puppet. Go and restrain him first. Among the 3, the rank 4 martial emperor with the highest cultivation had blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. His aura was extremely chaotic. He shouted and ignited his bloodline, causing his battle power to soar. Right now, only by capturing Qin Yu would they have a chance of survival. Otherwise, all 3 of them would die here today. Whoosh! One of the 2 rank 3 martial emperors also ignited his bloodline power and fought against the skeleton ghost king with all his might. The other one took the opportunity to escape from the battle. With a pale face, he pounced toward Qin Yu and the dragon soul. However, to their surprise, the skeleton ghost king did not react to their tactics at all. It only continued to suppress the 2, as if it was not worried about Qin Yu's safety at all. Good, I'll use you to practice. Although rank 3 martial emperors were very powerful, Qin Yu was no longer in the same state as when he was in the Divine Moon Imperial Tomb. Right now, not only had Qin Yu's cultivation reached the Nirvana Second Revolution, he had also obtained the new 3 Emperors' divine ability. Most importantly, his 9 esotericas of the Battle Dragon had evolved a few times as his cultivation grew stronger. During the Divine Dynasty martial gathering, Qin Yu had been restraining his strength. This time, he was going to fight without restraint. They wanted to see how strong he was now. Seal! That descendant of a battle general used his ultimate move. The vast power of the great path of heaven and earth condensed into an ancient seal that descended with a loud rumble. It was about to seal Qin Yu. Azure Dragon battling the heavens! Qin Yu, who had been standing in the void and watching the show, suddenly changed his aura. Streaks of dark green tattoos covered his entire body like streaks of green dragon scales. A vast dragon might spread out. His Nirvana Second Revolution cultivation had directly broken through the limits of the martial ancestor realm and reached the martial emperor realm. Right at this moment, several tens of thousands of miles away, a human silhouette that was flying extremely fast suddenly froze. His gaze abruptly turned toward the direction where Qin Yu was. This person was none other than the stern young man in white who wore an ancient iron ring on his hand. What a powerful dragon might! But why is there a human aura? That white-clothed, grave and stern man's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. He changed his direction and rushed towards Qin Yu's location. How is this possible? At that moment, in the deep pit, the face of the martial emperor general who was sealed by the seal changed greatly. His eyes popped out in disbelief. Reaching the martial emperor realm from the martial ancestor realm was such a shocking secret technique. Not to mention seeing it, he had never even heard of it before. 5 elements chaotic sky. Qin Yu's hands moved. In the void, the 5 elements light and the chaotic order surged. The sky seemed to have turned into a raging sea. The ancient seal formed by the general martial emperor was immediately distorted by the impact. The 5 elements and the chaotic order had turned into the power of the Great Path. Qin Yu used a secret technique to execute it, and its power was extremely shocking. Damn it, you're defeated! The general martial emperor finally recovered from the shock. He saw that the battle on the skeleton Ghost King's side was getting more and more dangerous. He did not have time to think and directly burned his general bloodline. His battle strength underwent a transformation and his attacks became even more terrifying as they bombarded Qin Yu. Time reversal! At this moment, the dragon's soul formed a seal with both hands and executed a space-time ability. The flow of time in this world was affected. The speed of the general martial emperor, who was originally as fast as lightning, was more than several times slower. The speed of the battle of the martial emperor was several times slower. This was definitely fatal. Swoosh! A black light flashed and Qin Yu, who had executed the 9 serenities purgatory, was covered in dragon scales. His battle strength increased again. Holding the sky-splitting spear in his hand, he suddenly attacked. The general martial emperor, who was affected by the space-time ability, could not react in time. The power of the great path of heaven and earth that he had condensed was destroyed by Qin Yu's spear. Vast and unparalleled power then bombarded the general martial emperor's body, causing him to vomit blood and fly backward. His aura was chaotic and weak. However, Qin Yu continued to follow him like a shadow. His attacks were also unceasing. One after another, the Dragon Clan's remarkable abilities and secret techniques were unleashed in succession. The general martial emperor could only defend himself. Pucci! Finally, as Qin Yu executed the heavenly stellar divine light, the general martial emperor's body was penetrated and revealed a flaw. Qin Yu grabbed it and killed it with one strike. Immediately, a majestic force of providence flowed from the general martial emperor's body into Qin Yu's body. Sure enough, after killing it completely, all the providence will be plundered. A light flashed through Qin Yu's eyes. The providence of the general martial emperor was more than 10 times stronger than the providence that he had obtained from Yi Xiaoning. The power that was brewing in Qin Yu's soul became more and more intense. Boom! There was a loud explosion. The battle on the skeleton Ghost King's side had come to an end. The 2 general martial emperors saw that the general martial emperor, who had gone to capture Qin Yu, was killed by Qin Yu. The hope in their hearts was completely shattered. Coupled with the burning of their bloodline power, their condition became worse and worse. They were seriously injured by the skeleton Ghost King. If it wasn't for Qin Yu's order to not let the skeleton Ghost King kill them, they would have already died. The 2 of them had already lost their lives. How could they have lasted for so long? The Skeleton Ghost King was a rank 5 martial emperor, and it was not to be trifled with. Whoosh! With a flash of black light, Qin Yu swooped down. His divine spear pierced through the air, causing the sky to tremble. The 2 general martial emperors died under the spear. The amount of providence that Qin Yu had plundered was even more frightening. As for the Skeleton Ghost King, it devoured the auras of the 3 martial emperors, and its cultivation increased. However, from the martial emperor realm onwards, there would be a clear divide in strength. Every level of cultivation was extremely difficult to achieve. It was also because of this that the Skeleton Ghost King had devoured tens of thousands of blood demons in the past few months. However, its cultivation had remained at rank 5 martial emperor. Judging from the Skeleton Ghost King's aura, Qin Yu estimated that it would need to devour a dozen more rank 3 and rank 4 martial emperors for its barbarian god emperor's body to evolve. After the battle ended, Qin Yu did not stay any longer and continued to travel through the ground. As long as there was no one like the descendants of the 12 general martial emperors who had their eyes on him, no one would be so bored as to make a move on a martial ancestor for no reason. Roughly an hour after Qin Yu left, a white light rapidly flew over. When the white light dissipated, the white-clothed man appeared in front of the crater. Chapter 351. 2 types of dragon blood aura, 4 types of dragon clan divine ability fluctuations. What's going on? The cold-looking man in white formed a seal with his hands, and a mysterious fluctuation emanated from his body. A look of extreme shock appeared on his cold face. Not only did he sense the dragon blood aura of Qin Yu and the dragon soul, he even sensed Qin Yu's 9 nether purgatory, heavenly stellar divine light, golden flame heaven incinerating fire, and the dragon soul's space-time divine ability. If Qin Yu were here, he would also be extremely surprised, because the mysterious fluctuation emanating from the cold-looking man in white was pure dragon pressure. In the Dragon Clan, only Emperor Realm Masters could transform. In other words, this cold-looking man in white was a true Emperor Realm Master. The cold-looking man in white looked in the direction Qin Yu left in and was a little conflicted. He really wanted to chase after him and see what kind of divine ability could control so many Dragon Clan divine abilities. But after thinking about it, he still did not chase after Qin Yu and turned around to leave. He suppressed his cultivation and did not hesitate to risk his life to come here for an extremely important purpose. As for this guy, he would slowly investigate after he got out. 10 hours later, Qin Yu appeared in front of a sea of clouds. The place where he was now was completely opposite from where he sensed the Saint-grade Dragon Clan. The reason why Qin Yu was here was because this sea of clouds had the power of Tao left behind by Fairy Shualon. The power of the Tao affected the entire void. When he just came in, Qin Yu noticed this. Therefore, Qin Yu was confident that he could deal with the Saint-grade Dragon Clan. Whoosh! Qin Yu broke into the sea of clouds and went all the way. Not long after, a golden ancient altar appeared in front of Qin Yu. On the ancient altar, a blurry figure could be vaguely seen. As if sensing Qin Yu's arrival, the figure smiled at Qin Yu and merged into the altar. Qin Yu was a little excited and immediately jumped onto the golden altar. That figure just now was the trace of origin soul power left behind by Fairy Shualon. However, when Qin Yu sensed it carefully, his excited expression was slightly restrained. The strand of soul power that Fairy Shualon had left behind had completely dissipated. At the last moment, it had triggered the restriction on the golden altar. There were numerous golden ancient divine marks revolving around Qin Yu's body. It was as if they had condensed into a golden armor. Those ancient runes were condensed from the power of Tao left behind by Fairy Shualon. However, for some unknown reason, the power of the Tao technique had been greatly depleted. Its power was now only at the level of a martial emperor. Otherwise, with the power of the ancient divine runes, Qin Yu would be invincible in this space. However, even though he could not unleash the power of the Tao, he still had these ancient divine runes. Even if Qin Yu did not use the Azure Dragon battle the heavens, his battle strength would still be top-notch in this space. Qin Yu collected his somewhat disappointed mind. Although he did not know where Fairy Shuelon had gone. But in this life, Qin Yu would find her back. Now, the most important thing was to recover his cultivation. After eliminating those enemies from his previous life, Qin Yu would be able to wholeheartedly search for Fairy Shuelon. If his enemies were not destroyed, Qin Yu would not be able to get rid of the obsession in his heart. After obtaining the power of Tao left behind by Fairy Shuelon, Qin Yu flew all the way in the direction of the dragon race's pressure. This is. After 6 hours, Qin Yu's expression suddenly changed. The dragon's soul also instantly sensed it. Someone beat us to it, the dragon's soul said. Swoosh. Qin Yu did not hesitate. His speed was even faster as he broke through the void and disappeared into the distant horizon in the blink of an eye. At this moment, in a vast and boundless stone forest, a huge battle was taking place. This stone forest was extremely strange. Not only was it light purple in color, but it was also covered with mysterious natural Tao runes. Roar! Suddenly, a soul-shaking dragon roar resounded through the 9 heavens, causing all living things to tremble. In the depths of the stone forest, there was a thunderstorm of lightning raging all over the sky. The stone forest within 1,000 miles had turned into a sea of lightning. In the violent lightning that filled the sky, there was a 10,000 feet long black lightning shadow that rolled wildly. The lightning in the entire sky surged along with it. If a cultivator saw that black shadow clearly, they would definitely be extremely shocked. The reason for that was because that lightning silhouette was actually a real dragon. A 10,000 feet long body covered in light purple dragon scales. On each light purple dragon scale, there were divine runes of lightning appearing, mighty divine power. As the divine runes of lightning on the dragon scales flickered, the lightning in the sky above the stone forest flickered rhythmically. This purple lightning divine cloud dragon's cultivation is close to that of a rank 7 martial emperor. How are we going to fight it? Don't mess up the formation, trap it. This won't do. There are too many lightning stones here. The purple lightning divine cloud dragon's aura is getting stronger. Oh no, this space has been sealed by the power of lightning. However, at this moment there were more than 10 figures in the sea of lightning. They had set up a terrifying formation. They were attacking the purple lightning divine cloud dragon. The auras of those people were unfathomable. They were all martial emperors. Since they were all martial emperors, they were all martial emperors. At the very least, they were all from a superpower. However, it was these superpowers geniuses who were besieging the purple lightning divine cloud dragon that quickly fell into a desperate situation. Now, even if they wanted to retreat, they no longer had the chance. At this moment, there was a figure quietly observing the battle in the stone forest. That person was none other than the cold-looking man in white. He had not hesitated to seal his cultivation to sneak into the empty space for the purple lightning divine cloud dragon. The cold-looking man in white had not expected that there would be someone who had found the purple lightning divine cloud dragon earlier than him. What was even more unexpected was that a mere dozen martial emperors had dared to target the purple lightning divine cloud dragon. Weren't they courting their own deaths? However, he did not stop them. Instead, he took the opportunity to observe the purple lightning divine cloud dragon. If he had not sealed his cultivation, it would have been easy for him to capture the purple lightning divine cloud dragon. However, once he broke the seal, the empty space that was filled with the power of the way would kill him completely. He did not know what kind of existence had left behind the power of the way in this empty space. Roar! Another deafening dragon roar was heard. In the sky that was filled with thunderclouds, there was a huge lightning ball that was 100 feet in size. The dozen martial emperor's geniuses who had joined forces were horrified. They even looked pale and hopeless. The destructive power that was contained in the lightning ball made them feel the real danger of death. Crack! The lightning ball suddenly exploded. Rolling purple thunderbolts swept out like a tidal wave. Extremely destructive thunderbolts wreaked havoc in the sea of lightning. The dozen martial emperor's geniuses screamed in agony. They were all charred black by the thunderbolt. Their flesh was lacerated and their auras were extremely weak. Chapter 352. Compared to the power of heaven and earth, the power of lightning was definitely the most destructive power. The dozen over-martial emperors, whose cultivation was far below the purple thunder divine cloud dragons, were completely suppressed to the point that they could not retaliate. Rumble. After the lightning ball exploded, the purple lightning heavenly dragon turned into a torrent of lightning and rushed out. After 10 breaths, the dozen martial emperors were killed. Their souls were scattered, and there was nothing left of them. After killing the dozen martial emperors, the purple lightning heavenly dragon did not disperse the lightning in the sky. That pair of huge dragon eyes flashing with lightning looked in the direction of the white-robed man. The purple lightning heavenly dragon had already noticed the cold-looking man in white when he appeared. However, the purple lightning heavenly dragon did not attack the cold-looking man in white. Instead, it looked like it was thinking, "Haha, it seems like you have seen through my real body." The cold-looking man in white smiled and flew to the edge of the lightning stone forest. At this moment, dragon tattoos that were overflowing with cold air appeared on the white-robed man's body. A noble and vast dragon might burst out from Chin Nan. Shock appeared in the purple heaven godly lightning dragon's eyes. The cold-looking man in white's real strength made the purple lightning heavenly dragon feel pressured. More importantly, the dragon race bloodline of the cold-looking man in white made the purple heaven divine lightning dragon's dragon race bloodline feel suppressed. The suppression came from the depths of the bloodline. It was an innate suppression. The cold-looking man in white had a terrifying dragon bloodline. Dragon Emperor bloodline? After a while, the purple lightning heavenly dragon's voice was loud and powerful. "I am AOD, the descendant of the Dragon Emperor in the Eternal Dragon Nation." The cold-looking man in white nodded with a proud look on his face. In the history of the Sky Domain, the Dragon Emperor had established the Eternal Dragon Nation when the Dragon Tribe was at its peak. At that time, the Dragon Emperor had been in charge of the Eternal Dragon Nation. It had suppressed the Sky Domain and deterred the extraterritorial races. Unfortunately, the Dragon Emperor had disappeared from the Sky Domain and the Eternal Dragon Nation had collapsed. The Sky-punishing Dragon Tribe had their own kings and even fought with each other. "Why are you looking for me?" He could sense that AOD's Dragon Emperor bloodline was becoming stronger and stronger. The lightning dragon scales on the purple heavenly lightning dragon flickered with lightning, resisting the vast Emperor's aura. "I want to rebuild the Eternal Dragon Nation and restore the glory of the dragon race." AOD's ice-cold expression was now filled with fanaticism. Rebuilding Eternal Dragon and restoring the glory of his ancestors was his lifelong goal. "You want me to follow you?" The purple heaven godly thunder dragon's huge dragon eyes moved slightly. After knowing that AOD was the descendant of the Dragon Emperor, he could basically guess AOD's origin. "That's right. When I unify the dragon race and establish the Eternal Dragon Nation, I'll be able to do so. Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon, you will become a god just like your ancestors who followed the Dragon Emperor, and your name will spread throughout the ages." AOD had cultivated for countless years and reached the Emperor realm. Now, he could finally take action. "I'm not interested." Unexpectedly, the purple heaven godly thunder dragon directly refused. "Not interested? Why? Do you want to be sealed in this tiny void space forever?" AOD was stunned. He was the descendant of the Dragon Emperor and a martial emperor expert. Although the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon's bloodline was powerful, he was only a martial emperor. He did not hesitate to suppress his cultivation level and came here with great sincerity. How could he be rejected by the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon? I'm willing to be sealed here because I have an unfinished mission, the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon said. Mission? AOD frowned. The Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon's words made him feel that, why did it sound like the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon had already been subdued? Swoosh. Just as AOD was about to speak, a divine light shot over from the distant sky at an astonishing speed. When the divine light dissipated, a figure was revealed. It was Qin Yu who was rushing over. AOD, who did not care about Qin Yu's arrival, suddenly narrowed his eyes and looked at Qin Yu seriously. It's him. AOD's eyes lit up. Although it was his first time seeing Qin Yu, he immediately sensed the dragon blood aura and secret technique fluctuations on Qin Yu's body. It was the person who had 2 types of dragon blood aura and 4 types of divine abilities and secret techniques of the Dragon Clan that he had sensed earlier. Qin Yu was also here. His purpose was self-evident. He was most likely here for the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon. But what AOD could not figure out was how Qin Yu knew the Dragon Clan's innate divine abilities. The dragon blood aura on his body could be understood, as he had refined dragon blood before. A human had mastered 4 types of innate divine abilities of the Dragon Clan. This had never happened even in the history of the Dragon Clan. One had to know that even a pure-blooded dragon like him could only control his own innate divine abilities. He could cultivate other innate divine abilities of the Dragon Clan, but he could not comprehend the innate divine ability of the Dragon Clan. At most, it could only be considered a secret technique and not a Dragon Clan's innate divine ability. Dragon transformation? Emperor Realm? Qin Yu, who had stopped moving, glanced at the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon, and his attention immediately fell on AOD. With just a glance, Qin Yu could tell that AOD was a real dragon transformation. This caused Qin Yu to be rather surprised. This void space contained the power of Fairy Shuelan's Tao technique. This guy actually had the means to suppress his cultivation level and sneak in here? Of course, while he was surprised, Qin Yu's eyes still flashed with a fiery light. This person had the cultivation level of an Emperor Realm. If he could subdue him, Qin Yu's cultivation level would be greatly improved. Of course, Qin Yu was only thinking about it now. Even if he had the support of Fairy Shuelan's Tao technique and divine runes, he would not be able to deal with an Emperor Realm master. Unless this person broke the seal on his own and completely triggered the Tao technique power of the entire void space. In that case, Qin Yu would be able to take advantage of the situation. This is the Fairy's Tao technique power? At the moment when Qin Yu and AOD were having their own thoughts unceasingly. When the Purple Heaven Godly Thunder Dragon saw the golden armor-like Tao technique and divine runes on Qin Yu's body, the dragon's huge eyes suddenly became a little excited. After waiting for hundreds of years, the person that the fairy had mentioned had finally appeared. Junior, how do you know the divine ability of the Dragon Clan? Finally, AOD broke the silence and asked the question in his heart. It's a long story. Although Qin Yu could not deal with an Emperor Realm Master now, he did not need to be too afraid. In the current situation, if they really fought, it was hard to say who would win. Then let's make it simple. AOD asked. I'm sorry, I don't have the time now. Qin Yu smiled faintly. Is that so? Then I'll have to see for myself. Before he finished speaking, the cold air around AOD suddenly swept out with a whistling sound. Behind him, it vaguely turned into 1,000-foot-long ice shinran. A boundless dragon's might that was like a 10,000 zhang tall mountain was smashing toward Qin Yu. AOD could easily suppress a mere martial ancestor even if he suppressed his cultivation. AOD was quite concerned that Qin Yu could control several divine abilities of the Dragon Clan. This was even more important than persuading the purple heaven godly thunder dragon. Although Aod had not seen it with his own eyes, he had a strong premonition. Figuring out the mystery of Qin Yu might be of great benefit to him. Chapter 353. This Dragon Clan fluctuation. Qin Yu's eyelids twitched when he sensed Aod's dragon aura. He was shocked. Immortal grade dragon blood. No, it's close to immortal grade dragon blood. The dragon soul and the divine dragon ancient seal also looked up at Aod in disbelief. The divine grade dragon clan was the emperor realm, while the divine grade dragon clan was the emperor realm. As for immortal grade dragon blood, Qin Yu had only seen it once. It was the immortal ancient Shinran that he had obtained after cultivating the dragon soul. Aod's dragon bloodline was close to immortal grade dragon blood, which naturally shocked Qin Yu and the dragon soul. If not for their lack of strength, they would have attacked long ago. Whoosh! Aod had already made his move. The Shinran behind him that was condensed from frost chi seemed to be sentient and had a life of its own. It swept toward Qin Yu with a gust of cold wind. Wherever the frost Shinran passed, a large area was frozen. In an instant, a world of ice and snow appeared. Boom! Qin Yu came back to his senses, and the divine runes on his body flickered. Just as he was about to make his move, an earth-shattering sound of thunder rang out. Dozens of purple thunderbolts descended from the sky and blocked the frost Shinran that was sweeping toward Qin Yu. Purple thunder divine dragon? You want to stop me? Aod was surprised and looked at the purple thunder divine dragon curiously. Not only did the purple thunder divine dragon reject him, but it also wanted to help a human? Aod could not figure it out. Even Qin Yu was surprised. You can't attack him, the purple thunder divine dragon said in a powerful voice. Why can't I attack him? Aod raised his eyebrows. Because this is the reason why I'm trapped here. The purple thunder divine dragon's words confirmed Qin Yu's guess. Is that so? Then we'll have to see if you have the strength to protect him. Aod laughed arrogantly and domineeringly. He was a venerable sovereign and a descendant of the Dragon Emperor. Naturally, he would not be restrained by a mere purple thunder divine cloud dragon. Although the dragon race of the 9 continents of the heaven domain had withered and their whereabouts were hard to find. But if he really wanted to find them, there would definitely be a lot of them. Since the purple thunder divine firmament dragon did not know what was good for it, it could not blame him for being ruthless. In this world, the strong were always respected. When his ancestor, the Dragon Emperor, founded the Long-Hung Dragon Nation, didn't he climb to the top by stepping on the corpses of the Dragon Clan's experts? Today, his path to becoming the Dragon Emperor would begin with the purple thunder divine firmament dragon. Either submit or die. Crack! In the void, the ice Shinran that was blocked by the purple thunderbolt seemed to have sensed Aod's killing intent. It roared at the sky, and a terrifying chill erupted. In an instant, the area within tens of thousands of miles turned into a world of ice. Even the purple thunder divine cloud dragon's sea of lightning was frozen. The cold energy that erupted from the frozen ice Shinran had some mysterious Tao runes floating around it, which increased the power of the ice. Bang! There was a loud explosion. The purple thunder divine cloud dragon that was frozen in the void by the cold energy exploded with purple thunderbolts all over its body. It was like a group of demons dancing around, shattering the cold energy that was attacking it. In an instant, all the thunder runes on the thunder stones in the stone forest lit up with mysterious thunderbolts. Terrifying thunderclouds gathered in the sky again, and deafening thunder rumbled continuously. Lightning flashed and flashed across the land. The purple thunderbolts that surged around the purple thunder divine cloud dragon became even more ferocious and shocking. Its huge thunderbolt dragon eyes were like 2 lightning lanterns, emitting a powerful aura. As expected of the descendant of Taishao Shinran, Aode's eyes lit up when he saw that the purple thunder divine cloud dragon had broken through his ice seal. This was why he had chosen the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. Although the purple thunder divine cloud dragon was only a divine grade dragon, its potential could reach the emperor grade. If he could subdue it, it would definitely be a super force in the future. After glancing at it, Aode's mind moved. The ice Shinron that was formed by the cold energy immediately pounced on the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. The cold energy froze the sky, and the thunderbolts destroyed the world. The power that could destroy heaven and earth wreaked havoc in this world. No wonder you're so confident. So you're related to the sovereign who sealed this void space. Aode ignored the purple thunder divine cloud dragon, and his gaze fell on Qin Yu again. At this moment, the divine runes on Qin Yu's body emitted a ring of mysterious golden light. With Qin Yu as the center, the cold energy within 100 miles of the void space could not spread at all. Aode naturally sensed that the divine runes on Qin Yu's body were the same as the power of the void space. Without thinking, he knew that the divine runes on Qin Yu's body were left behind by the sovereign who sealed this void space. Qin Yu did not speak. Divine light spread out from his right hand, and the sky-splitting spear condensed. The aura on his body also underwent a huge change. It was extremely dangerous and made people's hair stand on end. If I go all out, can I take him down? After seeing the power of the divine runes, the dragon soul stared at Aode with sparkling eyes. The dragon soul was very tempted by the power of the dragon bloodline on Aode, which was close to the immortal grade. How can it be so easy to take down a sovereign? Moreover, he's not an ordinary sovereign. However, Qin Yu was able to see it very clearly. If the power of the Tao left behind by Fairy Shuolan was not lost and the seal was intact, in that case, he might be able to capture Aode in this empty space. What a pity for such a fat sheep! The dragon soul was reluctant to part with the dragon bloodline on Aode, which was close to the immortal grade. I'll roast him sooner or later. A smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. Since he saw it, he would not let it go. But now, he had to play it safe. Even if this guy suppressed his cultivation as a sovereign, he must have many trump cards. So, he had to get the purple thunder divine cloud dragon first. Otherwise, the cooked duck would fly away before the fat sheep could be caught. Look at you, you're also here for the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. Do you think you can take the purple thunder divine cloud dragon from me? Seeing that Qin Yu did not speak, Aode moved, turned into a cold light, and attacked directly. Whether I can take it away or not, we'll only know after we fight. Qin Yu was not afraid at all. The divine runes flashed as he faced the attack head-on and thrust his spear. Bang! Bang! One was a sovereign who suppressed his cultivation, while the other was enhanced by the divine runes. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. In the hands of Aode, the divine power of the Ice Dragon clan really had the power to freeze and destroy the world. The area of this frozen space was getting bigger and bigger. In a short time, more than 100,000 miles of area was frozen. If he didn't suppress his cultivation, he might even be able to freeze the entire void dimension. However, Qin Yu's attack was also extremely terrifying. With the power of the divine runes, the cold air was annihilated as soon as it was frozen. The two of them fought fiercely. Both of them unleashed destructive divine abilities and secret techniques, risking their lives to kill each other. The entire area was completely destroyed. Chapter 354. Appear. After exchanging dozens of blows, Aode knew that he couldn't defeat Qin Yu with ordinary means, so he immediately changed his attack. He formed a seal with his hands and an icy dragon scale appeared between his eyebrows. The dragon scale emitted cold air, and an ancient dragon horn that was only a few inches long appeared. The dragon horn was covered with icy dragon patterns and emitted a substantial dragon power. This ancient dragon horn was a divine treasure left behind by Aode's lineage, a peak divine-grade dragon. As Aode's hands formed seals, the ancient dragon horn emitted a vast dragon power. In the blink of an eye, it became several feet long and the void shook. The ancient dragon horn appeared in front of Qin in a flash like Shinran. It was so powerful that even the divine light emitted by the Tao Dharma divine rune couldn't stop it. A divine weapon? Qin immediately sensed the power of the dragon horn and yelled. A vast Tao Dharma power descended and turned into an invisible barrier in front of Qin. Qin didn't use the 3 Emperors' superpower or the 9 esoteric battle dragons in the face of the divine weapon's attack. Qin knew very well how astonishing the might of a true divine weapon was. It was definitely not comparable to a divine weapon created by the War Emperor transformation. Sizzle! 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 The moment the ancient dragon horn collided with the Tao Dharma power, a circle of formless ripples spread out, and the void immediately rippled like waves that soared into the sky. The ice that had sealed the world instantly shattered. Even the purple lightning divine firmament dragon and the frost divine dragon, who were engaged in a fierce battle, were severely injured. One turned into ice shards and scattered in the void, while the other's thunder dragon scales were shattered and light purple dragon blood splattered in the air. Such power was enough to show how destructive the dragon horn and the Tao Dharma power contained. No way? He can control the Tao Dharma power in this void? Aode, who was sent flying a few hundred feet away because his cultivation was suppressed, couldn't hide the shock on his face. He originally thought that Qin could only use the power of the Tao Dharma divine runes on his body. But he did not expect that Qin could actually control the Tao power of this void space. In this way, the situation was too disadvantageous for him. Aode could clearly sense how terrifying the Tao power that sealed this continent was. If he did not seal his cultivation, he would definitely be killed by the power of the Tao. Luckily, the power of the divine weapon is also suppressed here. Qin, who was also sent flying several hundred meters away, took the initiative to attack this time. He held the sky-splitting divine spear in his hand, and the divine runes on his body glowed brightly. He charged towards Aode with the power of Tao that could descend. The moment he charged out, Qin-Yu's aura became even more terrifying. It was as if the power of the entire world had been mobilized by Qin-Yu at this moment. Aode roared angrily, and the icy dragon scales on his body covered his entire body. Then, he did not dodge at all, and directly faced the attack head-on. The moment he charged out, the ancient dragon horn returned to his hand, and a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering cold aura burst out from the iron bracelet on his hand. In the next moment, the iron bracelet seemed to have broken the seal, and an illusory dragon shadow appeared. The illusory dragon shadow roared and merged with the ancient dragon horn, causing the power of the dragon horn to become even more terrifying. Crack! The two of them once again used destructive attacks and collided fiercely. One could clearly see that where Aode and Qin-Yu collided, a pitch-black crack that was thousands of meters wide spread out. It was as if the entire sky was about to be split into two halves. Poof! Aode was touched by the spreading spatial crack, and the dragon's scales on his body shattered. The power of space was so terrifying that even with Aode's strong dragon body, he could not resist it. This is a good chance. After the collision, Qin-Yu's body shook violently, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He did not care about the recoil injury at all. He dispersed the sky-splitting divine spear and quickly formed hand seals with both hands. The Tao power and divine runes on his body emitted a dazzling divine light. Rumble. At this moment, the Tao power of the entire void space. It was completely triggered by the Tao power and divine runes on Qin-Yu's body, and it vibrated and gathered together. Oh no! Aode's face changed. He immediately realized that Qin-Yu was controlling the Tao power of the entire void space to suppress him. If he was sealed by all the Tao power, he would be killed by the Tao power of this space, even if he did not break the seal. Escape? An ancient talisman immediately appeared in Aod's hand. The ancient talisman glowed, and Aod turned into a wisp of spiritual energy and disappeared without a trace right under Qin Yu's eyes. Qin Yu, who wanted to take this opportunity to suppress Aod, paused. The Tao power and divine runes on his body dimmed quickly. The rampaging Tao technique power of this void travel space also slowly dissipated. As expected of an Emperor Realm Master, the Dragon Soul, who was forming hand seals with both hands and preparing to use its space-time divine ability, had a regretful look on his face. Sure enough, if one was not at the same level as an Emperor Realm Master, it would be difficult to catch even if there was an opening. If Qin Yu also had the cultivation of an Emperor Realm Master, he would not even need to recover to the peak of his previous life. With Aod being affected by the spatial crack, it would be impossible for him to escape. Qin Yu withdrew his aura and spat out a mouthful of blood. Just now, he had fully activated the Tao power and divine runes on his body and activated the Tao power of the entire void space. He wanted to take the opportunity to suppress Aod. But he did not expect Aod to be so straightforward and even use the Spirit Escape Talisman. The Spirit Escape Talisman was a true ancient divine talisman that could turn one's body into spiritual energy and escape. The world's spiritual energy was everywhere. Unless this space was completely sealed, it would be impossible to lock onto it. In the end, Qin Yu did not capture Aod. The Tao power and divine runes on his body dimmed significantly. The Tao power and divine runes were being consumed more and more. Fortunately, he did not capture Aod. But Aod was injured by the spatial crack and could no longer compete with him for the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon. Thinking of this, Qin Yu looked at the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon. Without hesitation, he flew directly into the forest of thunder stones with flickering lightning runes. Following Qin Yu's escape, the lightning that was originally wreaking havoc in the sky gradually dissipated. The purple lightning around the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon also slowly flowed back into its dragon scales. "You're finally here." The Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon looked at Qin Yu with its huge dragon eyes and said majestically, "You knew that I would come?" Qin Yu also looked at the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon. Previously, when the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon helped him stop Aod, Qin Yu was very surprised and did not understand the reason behind it. Fairy once said that the person who obtains her Tao power is the person she has been waiting for. The Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon said. "Fairy? I see. This Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon has already been subdued by Fairy Shuolan?" Hearing the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon call Fairy Shuolan a fairy, Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a look of contemplation. Thinking of the mission that the Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon had said before, he immediately understood. "In the past, I failed the divine tribulation and was attacked by the goblin tribe in the outer region. When I was about to die, it was Fairy who saved me and let me recuperate in this void space and gradually recover. After that, Fairy left and asked me to stay here and wait for you to come so that I can pass something to you." The Purple Heaven Heavenly Thunder Dragon ignored Qin Yu, who was deep in thought, and spoke again. Chapter 355. A sealing spiritual array appeared on the Purple Thunder Divine Cloud Dragon's horn. The sealing spiritual array was unlocked, and a seemingly simple stone appeared and floated in front of Qin Yu. "This aura is the underworld stone of the underworld ghost land?" Qin Yu took the stone and was slightly surprised. He sensed a special underworld ghost aura from the stone. The underworld ghost land was a forbidden area in the heavenly region. It used to be the ancestral land of the Ghost Clan, and any outsiders who entered would be hunted down by the Ghost Clan. But after the Ghost Clan disappeared, the underworld ghost land became more dangerous. Countless martial artists went to explore the underworld ghost land, and countless martial artists disappeared in the underworld ghost land. Even many sovereigns had disappeared in the underworld ghost land after exploring it. Because of that, during Qin Yu's era, the dark ghost land had become a place of absolute desolation. Even martial artists who walked the path of ghost cultivators did not dare to set foot in it. But now, Fairy Shualan had left him a underworld stone? What did this mean? Ghost Eye of Destruction. Qin Yu slightly sensed and then had a thought. With a flash of white light, the skeleton ghost king appeared. A black light appeared in the skeleton ghost king's hollow eyes. The ghost Eye of Destruction was closed, and countless mysterious ancient runes flickered. Beams of mysterious light shone on the underworld stone. Immediately, countless faint black ancient runes appeared on the underworld stone. As the black ancient runes flickered, an image appeared on the underworld stone. It was a boundless cliff filled with ghost chi. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows and looked at the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. He did not understand what this boundless cliff meant. Fairy said that if she did not come back, you should go to the place marked by the underworld stone. The purple thunder divine cloud dragon said. Fairy Shualan is in the underworld ghost land? The dragon's soul asked curiously. Although they had never been to the underworld ghost land, they had fought with ghost clan experts. Fairy Shualan's power was definitely not the inheritance of the ghost clan. Regardless of whether she is here or not, since Fairy Shualan left such a message, she must have her reasons. Qin Yu's eyes were filled with joy. Finally, he received news about Fairy Shualan. Fairy, I've completed the mission you gave me. It's time for me to leave. The purple thunder divine firmament dragon's lightning dragon scales flickered with violent lightning. At this moment, the thunder stones in the stone forest rose into the air and surrounded the purple thunder divine firmament dragon, forming a mysterious thunder array. But then, the profound lightning formation turned into ancient lightning and scattered into the lightning stones. As for those thunder stones, they gradually turned into thunder dragon scales after the lightning flashed. Since the power left behind by the fairy had been obtained by Qin Yu, it was only a matter of time before the restrictions on this space dissipated. The purple thunder divine firmament dragon did not want to be captured by a human race emperor realm master when the barrier was gone. Moreover, AOD was eyeing it covetously in the void dimension. He had seen the battle between AOD and Qin Yu. The purple thunder divine firmament dragon did not think it was a match for AOD. Seeing this, Qin Yu and the dragon soul came to a realization. This thunder stone array was formed entirely from the purple thunder divine firmament dragon's scales. It had willingly been sealed in this place, not by Fairy Shualan. After the seal dissipated, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon's aura immediately soared. It even broke through the rank 7 martial emperor realm and entered the rank 8 martial emperor realm. Its dragon might became even more vast. Purple thunder divine firmament dragon, your current situation is very bad. This void dimension is not safe. There are many emperors guarding outside. It is basically impossible for you to leave quietly. Why don't you follow me temporarily? I can bring you out. Qin Yu looked at the mighty purple thunder divine firmament dragon and said seriously. Fairy once said that if you came here, she hoped that I would follow you. The purple thunder divine firmament dragon was not surprised by Qin Yu's words at all. Qin Yu did not react much when he heard this. He appeared very calm. Judging from the purple thunder divine firmament dragon's tone, there was definitely something else. However, I did not expect the person that Fairy has been waiting for to have such a weak cultivation. Sure enough, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon did not mince its words when it spoke about Qin Yu's weak martial progenitor cultivation. My current cultivation is indeed not strong enough. However, it has only been 3 years since I started cultivating. Qin Yu smiled faintly. He was not angry at the purple thunder divine firmament dragon's words. The dragon race was innately noble. Even if one was stronger than it would be difficult to make it submit willingly. Not to mention that Qin Yu was indeed only a martial progenitor. 3 years. The purple thunder divine firmament dragon's eyes froze. To it, 3 years was merely the time for a nap. If what Qin Yu said was true, then his talent was simply too terrifying. Could it be that Fairy did not hesitate to leave her soul power behind to wait for him here? However, a genius was a genius, and an expert was an expert. An expert could crush a genius, but a genius might not be able to become an expert. Just like the dozens of martial Emperor Realm geniuses that it had killed before, they were also very talented, and might have the possibility of breaking through to the Emperor Realm in the future. However, they were annihilated by the purple thunder divine firmament dragon. If you follow me, you will not regret it in the future, Qin Yu said again. Do you know the background of AOD, who sealed his cultivation just now? The purple thunder divine firmament dragon asked. He is an Emperor Realm dragon, Qin Yu said. Not only that, he is also the descendant of the Dragon Emperor who founded the Eternal Dragon Country. He has the purest Dragon Emperor bloodline and has the ambition to rebuild the Eternal Dragon Country. In terms of potential and strength, he is far superior to you. Why should I give up on him and choose you? Do you think that I should submit to you just because you are the person that Fairy has been waiting for? The purple thunder divine firmament dragon said. Descendant of the Dragon Emperor? No wonder. Hearing this, the dragon's soul immediately understood. In the history of the Heaven Domain, the dragon race had the highest bloodline and the strongest cultivation. Without a doubt, it was the former Dragon Emperor. Inferring from various rumors, the Dragon Emperor had definitely reached the immortal grade dragon race. It was not surprising that AOD had a bloodline that was close to the immortal grade dragon race. You are right. He does have an extraordinary bloodline of the dragon race, and his cultivation is at the Emperor Realm. However, does he have a way to help you successfully pass the God Tribulation and reach the Emperor Realm? Or even pass the legendary Immortal Tribulation and reach the level of the legendary Dragon Emperor? Qin Yu smiled. Since he did not plan to suppress the purple thunder divine firmament dragon by force, he was confident that he could persuade the purple thunder divine firmament dragon. God Tribulation? Immortal Tribulation? Are you trying to say that you have a way to help me pass the God Tribulation? After hearing this, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon's eyes flickered. For the dragon race, the God Tribulation could be said to be a life and death tribulation. In the history of the Heaven Domain, most of the dragon race had died in the God Tribulation. Even someone as strong as the purple thunder divine firmament dragon couldn't make it through back then. Chapter 356. That was why the purple thunder divine cloud dragon had been attacked by the demonic beast. If he hadn't met Fairy Shulan, he would have died long ago. As for the immortal tribulation, that legendary heavenly tribulation was too far away. The purple thunder divine cloud dragon had never thought about it. Have you heard of the thunder crossing immortal pill? Qin Yu's calm voice was as loud as thunder in the purple thunder divine cloud dragon's eyes. The purple thunder divine cloud dragon's expression suddenly changed. It was even extremely excited. You have the legendary immortal pill? The purple thunder divine cloud dragon naturally knew about the thunder crossing immortal pill. It was a kind of supreme divine pill of the ancient divine sect, the immortal pill sect. It was rumored that it could pass all the thunder tribulations in the world. However, the immortal pill sect had disappeared in the ancient divine tribulation. Naturally, the thunder-crossing immortal pill had become a legend. However, in the inherited memories of the Dragon Clan's bloodline, it was proven that the Tribulation Transcendence immortal pill really existed. I don't have the thunder-crossing immortal pill now, but I have the recipe. I can make it. As Qin Yu spoke, he flicked his finger. A ray of divine light streaked across the sky and flew toward the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. Of course, Qin Yu only showed the recipe to the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. Qin Yu didn't show the special alchemy method of the thunder crossing immortal pill. With this temptation, the purple thunder divine cloud dragon would definitely be tempted. You can make it? Are you a divine alchemist? The purple thunder divine cloud dragon became even more excited after seeing the recipe. However, it was still quite calm. This is an ancient divine pill. Even a divine alchemist would find it difficult to make it. The purple thunder divine cloud dragon didn't hide its doubts. Apart from me, no one else in the entire heavenly domain can make the thunder-crossing immortal pill. Qin Yu's alchemy array skills were obtained by accidentally triggering a restriction when he was exploring the immortal god graveyard. Qin Yu knew many alchemy recipes and ancient arrays. Apart from him, no one else in the heavenly domain would know. Qin Yu didn't enter the Tao through alchemy arrays. However, his attainments in alchemy and array Tao were enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with those alchemy and array Tao emperors. The purple lightning divine firmament dragon did not question him further. After all, he was the person that the fairy had been waiting for. It was normal for him to be special. All right, as long as you can refine the thunder-crossing immortal pill, I will follow you from now on. After pondering for a while, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon agreed. In the current situation, there were internal and external troubles. No matter what, they had to leave this void space first. If Qin Yu could not refine the thunder-crossing immortal pill in the future, it would not be too late. Before that, I need your origin dragon blood. Although the purple lightning divine firmament dragon agreed, Qin Yu did not show any joy. Instead, he said solemnly, "Let's go." "What did you say?" The purple thunder divine firmament dragon was stunned, as if suspecting that it had misheard. "I need your origin dragon blood." Qin Yu spoke again. "Do you know what origin dragon blood means to the dragon clan?" Thunder rumbled in the purple thunder divine firmament dragon's huge dragon eyes, and the aura it exuded was extremely terrifying. "I know that you will be greatly injured if you give me your origin dragon blood, but I can make it up to you. Not only can I help you recover your origin energy in the shortest time possible, but I can also refine divine pills to help you cultivate." Qin Yu said, "Make it up to me? Help me cultivate?" The purple thunder divine firmament dragon seemed to grin. However, Qin Yu could feel that the purple thunder divine firmament dragon was enraged. "Dragon soul." Seeing this, Qin Yu shouted in his heart. The dragon's soul understood and appeared from the divine dragon ancient seal, exuding a terrifying dragon aura. "This is..." The purple thunder divine firmament dragon's eyes froze when it saw the dragon's soul. It could feel an oppressive pressure coming from the dragon's soul, as if it was real. That pressure came from the depths of its soul and spread to its bloodline. It made the purple thunder divine firmament dragon feel as if it had seen the dragon clan's ancestor. The purple thunder divine firmament dragon could easily suppress the dragon soul's cultivation. However, in front of the dragon soul, it could not suppress the fear in its soul. Roar! After the dragon soul appeared, chaotic dragon aura spread, and the origin dragon world appeared. Immediately after, a wave of heat that was as hot as molten lava emerged. The golden flames sky-incinerating dragon appeared from the origin dragon world. After refining the power of the azure demonic phoenix's bloodline, the golden flames sky-incinerating dragon's cultivation had completely entered the martial emperor realm. Before this, the golden flames sky-incinerating dragon had been consolidating its cultivation, so Qin Yu did not summon it. The golden flames sky-incinerating dragon clan? The purple thunder divine firmament dragon looked at the dragon soul and the golden flames sky-incinerating dragon in shock. Although it had already sensed that Qin Yu had the aura of dragon blood on him, it did not expect that Qin Yu would have such an aura. However, it did not expect Qin Yu to have two real dragon clan bloodlines. Be it the dragon soul or the golden flame sky incinerating dragon, their bloodlines were not weaker than it. Especially the dragon soul, which had a terrifying aura, it could not tell what kind of dragon clan it was. A grade 8 purple thunder divine firmament dragon? I can't deal with this fellow. When the golden flames sky incinerating dragon saw the purple thunder divine firmament dragon, it admitted defeat. Ever since Qin Yu had given it the azure demonic phoenix's bloodline, the golden flames sky incinerating dragon's attitude toward Qin Yu had changed. Of course, this was also because the golden flames sky incinerating dragon had not entered the world and had been staying in the ancient emperor's secret realm. Otherwise, given the pride of the dragon clan, it would not submit so easily after its origin dragon blood was forcefully taken away. Before the golden flames sky incinerating dragon followed me, it had been stuck in the martial ancestor realm. However, after following me for a few months, not only did it recover its essence, but it also entered the martial emperor realm. Qin Yu ignored the golden flames sky incinerating dragon and said to the purple thunder divine firmament dragon. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the golden flames sky incinerating dragon did not refute. It was the truth. Although it did not intend to follow Qin Yu in the beginning, when the purple thunder divine firmament dragon heard this, it fell silent. Qin Yu had the golden flames sky incinerating dragon's bloodline aura. What he said was most likely true. However, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon had cultivated to its current level. It was naturally unwilling to give up its origin dragon blood. Of course, if the person who spoke was Xuelon, the situation would be different. It's just that this is the first time I've seen Qin Yu. Amen, his cultivation is still so weak. This was a huge gamble for the purple thunder divine firmament dragon. You subdued the golden flames sky incinerating dragon and asked me to follow you and bring so many dragons. What is your purpose? After a while, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon said, It's simple. I want to establish the eternal dragon nation. Qin Yu said, You, a human, want to become the dragon emperor? When AOD wanted to establish the eternal dragon nation, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon did not care much. After all, AOD was the descendant of the dragon emperor. However, Qin Yu, a human, wanted to join in the fun? After the era of the dragon emperor had ended. In the history of the dragon tribe, there had been people who wanted to unify the dragon tribe and establish the eternal dragon nation. However, in the end, no one was willing to submit to the other. The internal strife of the dragon tribe became more and more intense. In the end, all the tribes were separated. The stronger the tribe, the more difficult it was to become the emperor and unify the dragon tribe. Back then, the dragon emperor did not become the emperor because of his talent and bloodline. It was because of his absolute power. Chapter 357. But now, in the entire heaven domain and even the outer realms, no dragon clan had an existence like the dragon emperor in the past. Because of that, no dragon clan had ever claimed the title of emperor again. Qin Yu was a human. In the purple thunder divine cloud dragon's eyes, it was naturally impossible. No, the achievements of the dragon emperor in the past are just a starting point for me. Qin Yu's face showed a hint of arrogance, and he exuded the aura of a ruler. That was why Qin Yu said that he wanted to create the eternal dragon nation, the real eternal dragon nation. The dragon emperor is just the starting point? The purple thunder divine cloud dragon's eyes trembled. It actually felt an indescribable sense of trust when it heard Qin Yu's words, which would be regarded as the ravings of a crazy person. The arrogant Qin Yu did not seem to be talking empty talk. He really believed that he could surpass the dragon emperor. At this moment, Qin Yu, the dragon soul, the purple thunder divine cloud dragon, and the golden flame heaven incinerating dragon's expressions changed slightly. They sensed a faint wave of energy from a secret art sweep over them. Someone was using their perception to probe them. And the distance between them was gradually closing. Qin Yu and the dragon soul looked at each other. Needless to say, AOD, who had been defeated before, was still approaching them. There's no time. Purple Thunder Divine Cloud Dragon, make a decision. Qin Yu looked at the dim Dao Technique Divine runes on his body, and then looked at the Purple Thunder Divine Cloud Dragon again. AOD was unlucky in the battle just now, and that was why the void cracks spread. Otherwise, Qin Yu could only scare him away, but not injure him. But even if he was injured, AOD was still a big threat with his Emperor Realm means. He could not be underestimated. In any case, my life was saved by you, Fairy, so I'll bet it on you. But I need you to swear on your heart demon that you will not go back on your words and betray me. The Purple Thunder Divine Cloud Dragon also knew that AOD was a big threat. If it encountered AOD alone, it would most likely not be able to escape. Qin Yu and the Dragon Soul smiled when the Purple Lightning Divine Firmament Dragon agreed. They weren't surprised by the Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon's conditions. The Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon was an old dragon. Its mind was not something a young dragon like the Golden Flame Heaven Incinerating Dragon could compare to. Of course, this was also because the Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon had waited for him in the void for hundreds of years under Fairy Shuelon's orders. Otherwise, Qin Yu would have followed his original plan and used force to suppress the Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon. He would not have taken so long to persuade the Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon. Seeing that Qin Yu had made a mental demon oath, the Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon handed over its origin dragon blood without hesitation. Then, he turned into a bolt of lightning and returned to the Chaos Dragon realm of the Dragon Soul. The Golden Flame Heaven Incinerating Dragon also returned to the Chaotic Dragon realm to continue consolidating its foundation. Go! Qin Yu stored the origin dragon world of the Purple Thunder Divine Firmament Dragon into the Dragon God Ancient Seal and immediately left with the Dragon Soul. With AOD around, Qin Yu naturally could not refine the dragon blood. The direction that Qin Yu was heading in was where Sun Xiu and the rest were. He had achieved his goal and had to check on Sun Xiu and the rest to see if the operation was going smoothly. If the operation was successful, and they had taken down the ancient heavenly Qilin, then it was time to leave the void. If he stayed there for too long, AOD would definitely come looking for him again. Qin Yu's current Dao skills and divine runes could not withstand a few more battles. Rumble! At this moment, in the void space, a chaotic battle was taking place in a mountain range that stretched as far as the eye could see. There were hundreds of martial artists involved in the battle, and they were all young martial emperor geniuses. It seemed like more than half of the young martial emperor realm geniuses who had entered the empty space had gathered at the mountain range. Among the hundreds of martial emperor geniuses, some were fighting with each other and some were working together. However, no matter which one it was, there was only one reason for the battle. It was the ancient heavenly Qilins that were running around the mountains. That's right, the ancient heavenly Qilins. Those ancient heavenly Qilins were about 200 feet long and their bodies were covered in crystal-clear white dragon scales. They were surrounded by auspicious aura and they were as fast as lightning as they shuttled back and forth in the mountains. This caused countless martial emperors to rush forward to capture them. Conflicts broke out and chaotic battles broke out. What the F***CK? Shi Jingtian looked around at the peak of a mountain. He was dumbfounded when he saw the ancient heavenly Qilins flashing back and forth in the mountains. The legendary ancient divine beast, the ancient heavenly Qilin, which had only been born a few times in the entire history of the heaven domain, was actually running all over the mountain now? Is it an illusion or an incarnation? Sun Xiu opened her mouth in disbelief. However, she quickly regained her senses and white light gathered in her eyes. She cast a secret technique and looked at the ancient heavenly Qilins. No matter how she looked at it, the scene in front of her was definitely abnormal. It was impossible for so many heavenly Qilins to appear. Therefore, only one of the heavenly Qilins was real. How is it? After a while, the white light in Sun Shiyu's eyes disappeared. Shi Jingtian and the rest immediately asked when they saw it. I can't see through it. All of the heavenly Qilins seem to be real. Sun Shiyu said in a daze, and even she found it hard to believe. Poof! Suddenly, one of the ancient heavenly Qilins was attacked and a bloody wound appeared on its body. 7-colored blood that was like a rainbow mist scattered in the air, and a strange fragrance filled the mountain forest. The flowers and trees that were stained with the 7-colored blood immediately became lively and even seemed to have gained intelligence. The rumors are true. The ancient heavenly Qilin's blood can revive the dead and grow flesh on bones. Quick, catch that ancient heavenly Qilin! Sun Shiyu, Shi Jingtian, and the rest were stunned for a moment. They immediately moved and charged toward the injured ancient heavenly Qilin. Sun Shiyu and the rest were not the only ones who noticed the scene. Many of the martial Emperor realm geniuses who had been watching in the dark also made their move. Trying to fish in troubled waters? Don't even think about it. Of course, the martial Emperor geniuses who had been chasing after the ancient heavenly Qilin would naturally not let the fat meat in their mouths be taken away by a pack of wolves. On one side, they kept reducing the space that the ancient heavenly Qilin could move. On the other side, they worked together to set up a formation to block the martial Emperor geniuses who were charging toward them from all directions. However, when the martial Emperor geniuses worked together, the formation that the martial monarch realm geniuses had set up was instantly shattered into pieces. Another violent battle took place. Swathes of ancient forests were directly erased. Mountain peaks collapsed one after another, and the earth cracked with a loud bang. Caught it! In the chaotic battle, a martial emperor young man used a secret technique to control an ancient bronze bell to fly out. Ding! Ding! The ancient bronze bell let out a crisp sound. The ancient heavenly Qilin that was running around suddenly swayed as though it was drunk and was sealed by the ancient bronze bell. Chapter 358. The martial emperor youth was overjoyed and was about to put away the ancient bell. Around him, over 10 martial monarchs were attacking him at the same time. The force of the attacks was so strong that it even shattered the space. The martial emperor realm expert was shocked. He did not have time to put away the ancient copper bell and immediately retreated. If he had insisted on capturing the heavenly Qilin, he would have died. Crack! The dozens of great Tao powers that were originally blasting out immediately slammed into the ancient copper bell. Although the ancient bell was a rare divine weapon, it could not withstand such an attack. Cracks appeared on it and it suddenly disintegrated. However, when the ancient copper bell shattered, the bodies of Sun Shiyu, Shi Jingtian, and the other martial emperor realm geniuses who were charging forward stiffened. That ancient heaven Qilin that was originally trapped actually vanished without a trace. After they recovered from their shock, they turned their heads around and looked at the martial emperor realm genius on the ancient copper bell. Damn! I didn't do anything! The martial emperor geniuses who had sneaked up to see if he could take advantage of the situation. Being stared at by so many martial emperors, he immediately felt his hair stand on end. He let out a strange cry and fled. What was going on? Not only did he not get the heavenly Qilin blood, but the divine weapon was also destroyed. Now that he was being suspected by dozens of martial emperors, who could he find to reason with? He does not have the heavenly Qilin's aura. Moreover, even if he had other means, he could not have secretly taken the heavenly Qilin away. Shi Jingtian looked away from the martial emperor who had run away. Sun Shiyu walked to the ancient bell and pondered. There were no traces of the heavenly Qilin burrowing, and the space was not torn apart. The heavenly Qilin had disappeared under their noses. Could it be that this was really just an illusion? Were all of them in an illusion? What do we do now? Do we still want to snatch it? Shi Hunyuan, the descendant of Emperor Shi, looked at Sun Xiu. They had been told that Sun Xiu would be in charge of this operation. Sun Xiu was the most powerful among them, and they were willing to accept that. No, there must be something strange about this mountain range. We have to figure it out first. Sun Xiu shook her head slowly. There were countless heavenly Qilins running around in the mountain range. They would be exhausted if they had to search for them one by one. What's more, even if he did catch them, they might disappear without a trace just like before. Sun Xiu flew up into the sky. Just as she was sizing up the mountain range, her eyes suddenly narrowed. Outside the mountain range, a figure was quietly watching the chaos in the mountain range. That person was none other than Qin Yu. Xin Feng? When did he get here? Shi Jingtian, Shi Huanyuan, and the others also saw Qin Yu. That's the power of Tao? Sun Yuanhu, the descendant of the Battle Emperor, noticed the divine runes on Qin Yu's body and his eyelids twitched. In this void space where Emperor Realm Masters could not enter, Qin Yu could actually control the power of Tao principles? What did this mean? Whoosh! Sun Xiu also noticed this. Her eyes lit up and she immediately flashed over. If Qin Yu could really control the power of the Tao, then he could completely sweep through this mountain range. Are you done with your business? After flying out of the mountain range, Sun Xiu asked while sizing up the divine runes on Qin Yu's body. After taking a closer look, Sun Xiu sensed that it was indeed a Tao principle. However, its power was only at the level of a martial emperor. Of course, judging from the fluctuation of the divine runes, even Sun Xiu was not confident that she could deal with Qin Yu now. Countless thoughts flashed through Sun Xiu's mind. Could it be that Qin Yu had obtained the inheritance of the emperor in this void space? Yes. Qin Yu nodded slightly, and his gaze continued to fall on the mountain range. What's wrong? Did you find anything? Sun Xiu asked when she saw this. Shi Jingtian, Shi Huanyuan, Sun Yuanhu, and more than a dozen martial emperors who were silent could not help but look at Qin Yu. Looking at Qin Yu's expression, it seemed that he had really found something. This mountain range is like a lying Qilin, Qin Yu said. Sun Xiu and the others were startled and quickly looked back. After being reminded by Qin Yu, if one were to look down from high up in the sky, one would not be able to see anything. The mountain range that was thousands of miles wide really looked like a Qilin lying there leisurely. The Qilin's head, body, and tail were all clearly visible. This is a formation, Qin Yu said again. He had been here for a while and had already seen through the details of the mountain range. Formation? How can we break it? Sun Xiu quickly asked. If she remembered correctly, Qin Yu seemed to be good at formations. Back then, outside the Xinyue Imperial Mausoleum, he had used the power of the formation to fight against the martial emperors of the Ghost Emperor's Sacred Island. It was born naturally. There is no way to break it, and there is no need to break it. Qin Yu slowly shook his head. No need to break it? Sun Xiu and the others were puzzled, because the real ancient heavenly Qilin is not here at all. Qin Yu's words were shocking. Let's get out of here first. Sun Xiu and the others' expressions changed. Just as they were about to ask, Qin Yu's voice transmission stopped them. Following that, the group of people entered the mountain range and quietly left the mountain range. Crown Prince, the people of the Sky Imperial Palace have left the mountain range. Although Sun Xiu and the others had been keeping a low profile, their whereabouts had been monitored. In a valley, a figure quickly flew over and spoke respectfully to a figure who was sitting cross-legged. The person sitting cross-legged was the Crown Prince of the Heavenly Spirit Divine Dynasty, Yi Tianyu. They left? Yi Tianyu opened his eyes. Yes. The man nodded. Crown Prince, could it be that they have already caught the ancient Heavenly Qilin? A martial emperor of the Heavenly Spirit Divine Dynasty guest. Send 2 people to stay here. The others follow. Yi Tianyu moved without hesitation and followed the people of the Sky Imperial Palace. The people of the Sky Imperial Palace were the first to discover the ancient heavenly Qilin here. If they didn't find anything, they wouldn't have left for no reason. On a mountain peak, the crown prince of the Saint Divine Dynasty, Zhou Wuyuan, was also paying attention to the movements of the Sky Imperial Palace. As the sovereign of divination, the heavenly star sovereign must have divined for Sun Xiu and the others. In an ancient forest, the boundless divine dynasty's crown prince Qian Yuming murmured softly, "Let's go." On a huge rock, a burly young man with mysterious fire patterns on his face immediately jumped down. As the people of the Sky Imperial Palace left, many martial artists of the major forces immediately followed them quietly. The heavenly Qilin had been running all over the mountain range, but no one had been able to catch it. This made them realize that things were not as simple as they seemed. Of course, although they had followed the people of the Sky Imperial Palace, however, he still left a lot of spies in this mountain range to make preparations for both sides. If someone caught the real heavenly Qilin here, they would be able to come back in time. In the ancient forest, Qin Yu led Sun Xiu and the others, flying rapidly in a certain direction. The direction they were in now, if one looked from a high altitude. They were rushing toward the mountain range, in front of the Qilin head. Chapter 359. Someone is following us. Shi Jingtian's expression changed slightly as he sensed something. There are quite a few of them. Should we think of a way to shake them off? Sun Xiu looked at Qin Yu. Don't worry about them. Qin Yu shook his head. He naturally sensed the people who were following them. However, if they stayed, their movements would be more restricted. Soon, Qin Yu and them arrived before a lake that was as enormous as the sea. Spiritual qi rose from the lake, and it looked like a paradise on earth. It should be here. Let's go in. With a plop, Qin Yu took the lead and rushed into the lake. Sun Xiu and the others immediately withdrew their auras and entered the lake. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Almost at that moment, the mountain range seemed to have come alive. A vast and terrifying aura appeared in the mountain range. Then, a shocking scene appeared. The heavenly Qilins that were flying around in the mountain range flew into the sky and merged with each other. After tens of thousands of heavenly Qilins merged, they turned into an ancient Qilin that was 1,000 feet tall. Those heavenly Qilins are just Qilin Qi? I see. That's why they can dissipate so many times. Look, it's flying away. Follow it, under the gaze of thousands of martial Emperor Realm geniuses. The ancient heavenly Qilin that was 1,000 feet tall stepped on auspicious clouds and rushed toward the huge lake where Qin Yu and the others were. The martial Emperor Realm geniuses in the mountain range were awakened and immediately rushed into the sky to follow it. Qilin Qi, Yi Tianyu, Zhou Wuyuan, Qian Yuming, Tang Mingxin and the other martial Emperor Realm geniuses who had just rushed turned around. He looked at the 10,000-foot Qilin that was charging over with a vast aura. After leaving the innate mountain range formation, they all saw through the true body of the 10,000-feet Qilin. Indeed, the Emperor Tian Palace knew that the real heavenly Qilin was not in the mountain range. It seems like the previous trick was just to confuse us. What a pity. Man proposes, God disposes. The martial emperors of the big forces who had followed them all had cold smiles on their faces. When the 1,000-meter-long Qilin crashed into the giant lake, it stirred up huge wave. Only then did they move, following the 3,000-meter-long Qilin inside. Behind them, several figures with terrifying auras broke through the void and rushed into the giant lake without stopping. What a powerful pressure! Qin Yu and the others, who had rushed to the bottom of the lake, naturally felt the terrifying pressure brought about by the 1,000-feet-long Qilin. Sure enough, he's out. Compared to the solemn expressions of Sun Xiu and the others, Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a bright light. He could tell that the mountain range was a natural formation. However, the purple thunder divine firmament dragon had warned him that the sky Qilin's true hiding place was here. Of course, compared to the ancient heavenly Qilin, Qin Yu's goal was the Qilin aura in the mountain range. This was because two true heavenly Qilins from the ancient era had fallen in that mountain range. Thus, there was a large amount of Qilin aura hidden there. The sky Qilin in the giant lake was the descendant of the two ancient heavenly Qilins. As long as someone dived into the lake, the Qilin aura in the mountain range would gather. In other words, the heavenly Qilin condensed from Qilin Qi in that mountain range was only a pretense. Its goal was to protect the sky Qilin in the lake. The sky Qilin is at the bottom of the lake. I'll go and deal with the Qilin aura. Capture the heaven Qilin as soon as possible before the others arrive. After Qin Yu spoke, his body flashed and he rushed toward the 1,000 feet long Qilin. Be careful, Sun Xiu warned. Without hesitation, she led Shi Jingtian and the others to the bottom of the lake. At the bottom of the lake, there were countless undercurrents surging. In the center of the undercurrents, there was an ancient cave that was faintly shining with a 7-colored light. Sun Xiu and the others looked at each other and immediately rushed up. The 1,000 feet long Qilin had already caused a huge commotion. It was impossible to sneak up on it now. They could only force their way in. Roar! At that moment, Qin Yu had already clashed with the 1,000 feet long Qilin. The 1,000 feet long Qilin roared into the sky. An enormous 7-colored light blade that was several tens of feet long flew out. It tore apart a large amount of the lake water and chopped straight at Qin Yu. Boom! Qin Yu did not dodge. He moved his right hand and the sky splitter spear stabbed out. The power of the divine runes surged and the 7-colored light blade was shattered by the sky splitter spear. It turned into Qilin aura and swept out. The Qilin aura was as sharp as a blade, and it cut through and shattered everything. The area within a radius of a few hundred miles turned into an area of destruction. Many of the martial Emperor realm geniuses who had rushed into the lake had to retreat. The power of the Qilin aura was too terrifying. Only Yi Tianyu, Zhou Wuyuan, Qian Yuming, Tang Mingxin and the other top geniuses of the younger generation could withstand it. Only they could withstand the terrifying Qilin aura. Although they could withstand it, they could clearly feel the power of the Qilin aura. Just the aftermath was so terrifying. Qin Yu could actually withstand the attack of the 1,000 feet long Qilin? They could not help but be shocked. That's the power of the Tao, right? Judging from the fluctuation, it seems to be similar to the power of the Tao that fills this void space. Could it be that he obtained the inheritance of the sovereign that sealed this void space? That's possible. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to control that kind of power. At this moment, the top geniuses of the younger generation looked at Qin Yu with a strange look in their eyes. The ancient heavenly Qilin was indeed very precious. However, the inheritance of a top sovereign was also a priceless treasure. Even the top forces of the spiritual state would be tempted. Boom! Boom! At this moment, the battle between Qin Yu and the 1,000 feet long Qilin became more and more intense. Qin Yu relied on the divine runes on his body to directly fight the 1,000 feet long Qilin head-on in a tyrannical state. More and more violent Qilin aura raged at the bottom of the lake, causing the entire lake to overturn. However, no one noticed it in the midst of the battle. Every time Qin Yu attacked, he would devour a large amount of Qilin aura. This Qilin aura was not very useful to Qin Yu. However, it was an excellent tonic for the purple thunder divine cloud dragon and the golden flame heaven incinerating dragon. The purple thunder divine cloud dragon originally planned to devour this Qilin aura before leaving. It just so happened that Qin Yu wanted it, so the purple thunder divine cloud dragon did not have to do it himself. After all, it had just handed over its origin blood essence, and its vitality was greatly damaged and weak. If it was besieged by those martial emperor geniuses, its life might be in danger. Rumble! As the battle dragged on, Qin Yu's aura became more and more ferocious, and his attacks were terrifying. On the other hand, the 1,000-feet-long Qilin was obviously getting weaker. This made the martial emperor geniuses, who were watching the battle from afar, even more shocked. The reason why they did not dare to move was because the 1,000-feet-long Qilin's power was far superior to theirs. They originally thought that Qin Yu could at most fight against the 1,000-feet-long Qilin. However, they did not expect that Qin Yu would gain such a crushing advantage so quickly. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.